Hasn't been the greatest of seasons for the Los Angeles Dodgers yet, but they do have one bright spot. 28-year-old Andre Ethier comes to Citi Field riding a 29-game hitting streak, the best in the majors in 2 years. The Mets will try and shut him down tonight. At Citi Field in New York, the New York Mets play the Los Angeles Dodgers. Mets baseball is presented in HD by IOTV. Get the best in HD free with IOTV. And a pleasant good evening, everybody, and welcome to Citi Field. I'm Gary Cohen. Ron Darling and Keith Hernandez join me in a moment. The Mets open a weekend series against the Los Angeles Dodgers. The Mets got some bad news today on Angel Pagan, at least temporarily. He was to have been activated tomorrow, coming back from an oblique injury, but he's feeling that oblique again. He's coming to New York tonight to see the doctors, and we'll know the further plan from there, but it appears unlikely that they'll have him back tomorrow. Meanwhile, the Dodgers are in town, 2 games under 500, but they've got one of the shows going on in baseball right now in their right fielder, Andre Ethier. 29-game hitting streak, looking for the first 30-game streak tonight since Ryan Zimmerman 2 years ago.
Well, Andre Ethier is one of those great straight streak hitters. If you recall, last year he got off to a very, very hot start. The left-hand hitting right fielder hitting 387 during this streak right now. Also, killing right-hand pitching. He's getting a lefty tonight, which is going to be very interesting, hitting 429 against right-handers, only 229 against lefties. So if there's ever a chance to break this streak, Jonathan Nice is coming off a very good start, and he's a left-hander.
Ethier sat out the Dodgers last game Wednesday because of an irritated elbow, but in there tonight. As for Nice, his first start ever against the Dodgers, and you have to like the way Jonathan has kicked it in gear these last few starts.
You're right, Gary, and Keith said it also. Nice was just outstanding in his last start. Just remember, he was pitted against Roy Halladay. That's a tough start anyways, and for the first 6 innings, I thought he outpitched Halladay, ran into some trouble later in that game. 5 of his 6 starts now have gone 6 innings or more, but the Mets have only scored 14 runs. A paltry 14 in the first 6 starts. That's going to have to be better today. And he's going up against Hiroki Kuroda, who's just an outstanding pitcher, a guy that doesn't walk anybody. He's got a good record this year, nearing 2,400 innings in his career, with that stellar career starting in Japan.
Kuroda in his last start, 27 batters, 23 first pitch strikes. Don Mattingly, the new manager of the Dodgers, comes back to New York as the Mets take on the Dodgers. All the action coming your way tonight on SNY. the best in HD free with IOTV. By your Tri-State Ford dealers. By Tropicana single-serve juices available at Duane Reade. By Bud Light Lime, the just right taste of Bud Light with a refreshing splash of 100% natural lime flavor. By Nathan's Famous, official hot dog of the New York Mets. Visit a Nathan's restaurant today. And by Audi. Enjoy a Mets game this season at Citi Field in BJ's Clubhouse. Tickets start at $10 for kids and $20 for adults, plus Mr. Met visits every game. Call 718-507-TIXX or visit Mets.com now. John Neese making his before tonight's game, the Teammates in the Community Award was presented by the Mets Alumni Association, presented by Citi, and the City Leadership Council to Carol Coleman, a volunteer at Dress for Success Worldwide for over 5 years. The Mets and Citi continue to share a commitment to supporting programs and individuals who devote their time and energy to better the lives of their fellow New Yorkers. Also before the game, SNY was joined by Sports Authority to award $5,000 to Manhattan Youth Baseball, the latest recipient of the SNY Play Ball Award. The $5,000 grant will help the league provide more kids with the opportunity to play the game they love. For more details on SNY Play Ball and information on how to apply, visit sny.tv or any local Sports Authority location. Here is the starting lineup for the Dodgers tonight, brought to you by Ford. They're missing the left side of their infield, Rafael Furcal and Casey Blake on the disabled list, so it's kind of an offbeat lineup. But the two guys in the middle, Ethier and Kemp, they have been fantastic. Kemp, who had kind of a confusing season last year, has been close to the best player in the National League so far this year. He can do it all.
Well, he really can. A true five-tool player in Kemp. Just if he pays attention, that's what he needs, because he has all the talent in the world. Jonathan Neese pitching, can I tell you, he was outstanding in his last start. Got the loss against Roy Halladay. Was winning 1-0 when he gave up that home run to Mayberry Jr. But other than that, about as good an outing as you'd want Jonathan under that pressure and circumstances.
And we'll take a look at the Lexus Metsy defense. How about Mr. Beltran out there? 20th straight start in right field, and I tell you what, he is swinging the bat great. Off to a terrific start for the Metropolitans. Bay back out there in left, and Pridey in center. Tolley back in the lineup behind the plate.
Jason Bay returned from maternity leave yesterday. Mets won.
8-3 when he plays, and 5-15 when he doesn't.
It's pretty extraordinary,
wow,
isn't
that
it?
is, really is.
Jamie Carroll getting set to lead off for the Dodgers. This guy has had one of the more extraordinary careers in Major League history.
Do you know how he was called up to the major leagues? He was in Evansville, Indiana, where he's from, and the Montreal Expos were in Chicago. A player got hurt. They needed to call someone up. He was the closest that could drive to Chicago. He drove to Chicago. He's been in the major leagues ever since.
And getting to play more every year than you would ever think possible. Last year for the Dodgers, had over 300 at-bats. He's been filling in a shortstop with Rafael Furcal on the disabled list with a broken thumb, and Carroll's hitting 280.
He reminds me of one of the older players, Keith. You know, a guy who chokes up, makes contact, and it seems like he does something to help your team win every single night.
And he can play multiple positions, infield, outfield, so that'll get you a spot on a roster.
Now 37 years old. First pitch by Neese is a fastball away, and we're underway at Citi Field. Carroll hitting at 280, 342 on base percentage. At the top of the Dodger lineup, the rookie Jerry Sands is on deck, and a call strike 1-1. Neese 1-4 on the year, but he's been pitching better and better of late. There's Sands. Last three starts, John's pitched to an ERA of 2.79, culminating in that duel with Halladay last time out. 1-2 to Carroll.
And he's been more consistent of all the Mets starters as long as you talk about innings. You know, he's gone 5 out of 6 starts. He's gone 6 innings or more. And really had a couple bad starts in there in the middle, but his other 4 have been outstanding.
It was interesting watching John pitch against the Phillies. It seemed like he went away from his cutter in that start as Carroll pops up the fastball. And Daniel Murphy has the call in shallow right for the first out of the night. I mean, he threw a ton of curveballs and a lot of fastballs, a few changeups, but the cutter became a lesser weapon for him.
I think they've almost taken it away from him as far as he was falling in love with that pitch and was throwing it every pitch. John is one of those guys who can throw 92 miles an hour. He should use that, and when he gets behind in the count, then use a cutter occasionally.
So here is Sands, who was called up on the 18th of April, the Dodgers minor league player of the year last year. Hit 35 home runs and drove in 93, playing single A and double A. 23 years old, and he has struggled since coming up as Neese misses ball 1.
You know, another note on Neese too, Ronnie. And I just feel that if he goes through the 3rd time through the order, as the ball hit the right field, that's going to drop.
And it's a foul ball, 1-1.
I just feel that 3rd time through the order or 2nd time through the order, the hitters kind of get a little bead on him. He gets a little bit too predictable, and he needs to learn just to learn to mix it up a little better, because he's got all the pitches.
He does.
How close that was to being an extra base hit for Sands, who was actually born in Middletown, New York, but grew up in North Carolina and then played college baseball at Catawba College in North Carolina.
Where's Middletown, Billy?
It's up there.
Where is it?
Wasn't Dave Tailgater Met pitcher from Middletown? It's up near Montgomery, same part of the state. Not too far. Marge County, I think, right? 3-1 now to Sands with Andre Ethier on deck.
I like this uniform the Mets have on.
Yeah, we all do, don't we?
The classic. Same ones they wore yesterday. 1. They're back in them. Sands takes one the other way, and Beltran will have to play it on a hop. And the Dodgers have the first base runner of the game. With Jerry Sands with an opposite field single.
going right the other way. A kid that's struggling, and that's a good start for him in this ball game.
And now here comes the man of the hour, Andre Ethier, in his 29-game hitting streak. As we mentioned, he sat out the Dodgers' last game on Wednesday with a little inflammation in his elbow. And there was some thought that he might sit out tonight as well to rest it and get ready for tomorrow against a right-hander. But in there tonight against Nice, even though he has struggled against lefties.
Well, he has said that it doesn't hurt him to hit, but it does certainly hurt him throwing the baseball out in right field.
Now, this is the first time that Nice has ever faced the Dodgers. But the Mets as a group have done a tremendous job over Ethier's 5-year career of holding him down. In fact, he's hitting 147 in his career against the Mets. The longest hit streak in Dodger history belonged to Willie Davis. And Davis tied and set that record against the Mets in 1969. Ethier has a chance to do the same thing. And that curveball misses badly, and it's 3-0.
Well, when he tied, you saw the name of the Brooklyn Dodgers, Zach Wheat. They said, Andre, you just tied Zach Wheat to 29 games. He goes, well, I'd never heard that name before.
If you get a Zach Wheat thrown at you, you know you've done something. Because Zach Wheat was a great player and played, it was 95 years ago. It's been a while. And Ethier extends the hitting streak in his first at bat. Around second and on his way to third is sad, so Andre Ethier now has a 30-game hitting streak. Didn't waste any time swinging at a 3-0 pitch.
Well, credit the manager there, Don Mattingly, a hitter himself, that gave his man the hit sign 3-0. Looking for a fastball out over the plate. He's got a beautiful swing here. I always loved his swing. They just say he's extremely streaky. And that takes a lot of load off of you right there. You get it by the first at bat, you can relax the rest of the at bat.
You saw the Mercedes-Benz Ultramo, brought to you by your tri-state dealers, on the web at searchmercedes.com. So now Matt Kemp is off to a roaring start of his own, hitting a .352, 6th in the National League. Last year, as you look at the IOTV pitch differential to Ethier.
Well, right down Broadway, 3-0.
That's where it's supposed to be.
Yep. Here, hit it.
1-1 to Kemp. Last year, Matt Kemp's numbers fell in just about every category, but even more than that, a guy who had won a Gold Glove a couple of years ago looked lost in center field, lost on the bases.
He got the doghouse big time.
He got kind of that big leagueitis. That's what he got. What does that mean? Just taking things for granted, thinking everything's going to come easy.
He lost some weight too. He looks in really good shape.
But here's the odd thing about Kemp's year last year. Even as he was going through all those struggles, but whether it was mental or physical, he played in every game. And that doesn't happen very often when a player gets in the doghouse like that. In fact, this is his 238th consecutive game. 2-2 now to these.
We saw him in his first year in the big leagues hit a home run to left field at Dodger Stadium. I think it was Sosa who gave it up, and I said, boy, not many people can hit it in that second deck in Dodger Stadium down the line. Just don't see balls going up there.
He's looking for the ground ball, first and third and 1 out. 2-2 to Kemp. He fouls away the fastball.
Kemp's a big kid, boy. I tell you, he's tall, strong.
6'4", 225, 230.
The Dodgers had those 3 players, Ethier, Kemp, Loney, come up all about the same time as Juan Uribe on deck. And Ethier's had a nice steady career. Kemp's been very high, not so high. Loney's been the guy who's been pretty much of a disappointment.
Yeah, he's gotten worse every year, to tell you the truth. And I think you can almost include Russell Martin, who was sent to Yankees, of course. That core we thought would really produce a lot of victories for this Dodger team.
Dodgers have been struggling offensively. They're 12th in the National League in runs scored, despite having Ethier and Kemp so high. And a good cutter by Nice, and Kemp did well to foul that off.
Very good at bat for Kemp. Johnson's thrown everything but the kitchen sink at him, and that's a cutter right off the plate, and he gets a piece of it and stays in the at bat.
So a hard-working first inning for Nice. It's already thrown 20 pitches. Don Mattingly, first-year skipper of the Dodgers. And Nice checks in on Ethier.
See, Don knows where to stand already to get away from the camera.
It's an art. Kemp does not run, Ethier does not run, and Kemp hits it out to right field. Beltran gets there with the slide, and he can't make the catch. Down the line to score is Sands. Into second goes Ethier, and Kemp is aboard with a fly ball single, and the Dodgers lead it 1-0. Now, Beltran was going into a slide to try and catch it and then pop up and throw home, but he didn't catch the ball.
Well, he's there and just doesn't get it done. That's unusual for Carlos. Does everything right. Hit the heel of his glove and popped out. Even used two hands. So even the best drop him every now and again.
So 3 straight hits for LA, and they have the early lead. Now Juan Uribe, who got his second World Series ring with the Giants last year, and he takes a knee-high strike.
That's right, White Sox in 05. Wow.
Ethier at second, Kemp at first. Uribe had a big year for the Giants last year, and after a miserable start this year, he has gotten it going lately, getting .356 over the last 14 games. And he fouls one at the plate, and it's 0-2.
One thing about Uribe, Keith and Gary, he will not get cheated. Got one of the biggest swings you'll ever see for a guy who makes pretty good contact.
He had a heck of a year for the Giants last year. He was a big part of that championship season. He's a high ball hitter. Got to keep the ball down on him.
And Nice's curveball is popped up in foul ground. Tolle and Davis over near the dugout, and Davis makes the play for the second out. So Uribe is retired. Now with a run in, 2 out and 2 on, and James Loney will come up. I mentioned Loney being a bit of a disappointment with the numbers so far this year, and hitting just .160 against left-handers this season.
He's a kid that could have been drafted as a pitcher or a hitter. Threw 95 miles an hour as a high school athlete. Great basketball player. Real good defensive first baseman, but has not been able to make enough contact.
And the power has not been what they expected. 10 home runs last year. He's a big kid. First time the Mets have allowed a first inning run after 10 straight shutout first innings. It's like they all have become R.A. Dickey.
That's right.
The king of the first inning. Oh, look at that. Mattingly jersey in the house from his old career.
There's Donnie.
He's pretty good at that old career, by the way.
Tremendous left-hand hitter.
If he hadn't hurt his back, gosh almighty, what a career. Even with the bad back.
Ball strike 1 and 2. Driving 145 runs 1 year.
Yeah, at 85 he drove in 145.
He could also play first base.
Well, with you and Mattingly in New York playing first base at the same time, that's about as good a combination of defensive first baseman as any town's ever seen.
Well, he hit over 30 home runs 3 years in a row, drove over 100 runs 3 years in a row, never struck out over 34 times.
That's amazing. Needs ahead 1 and 2, and the curveball slapped foul. I mean, he had a 5-year span where he was as good a hitter as anybody in baseball, but then the production waned and cost him a spot in the Hall of Fame. Went down.
You know those 6 grand slams in 1987? Never hit another grand slam in his career. All of them came in 1 year.
That is incredible.
And look at the Gold Gloves, 9 times. What a player. Good guy too.
Yeah, great.
Coached under Joe Torre and now has the reins. He's building up a huge pitch count in the opening inning. This next will be his 30th pitch. Well, last inning we saw a Met pitcher throw. He threw 40.
Yeah. That was
K-Rod yesterday, and he didn't give up a run. That's hard to do. 2-2, and Loney wastes another one.
This is some very defensive swinging. Loney looks like a rusty gate up there. He has no rhythm in his swing whatsoever, and that is just not the first time he swung like that. He's just really so lost in the woods. The wolves, the big bad wolves after you.
You've been there, right?
That Red Riding Hood.
You could even see it in his face, like,
Oh,
ah.
And Neese with the curveball gets him on the ground ball to Davis, and a little push shot for the third out. 3 straight hits for the Dodgers. Right in the middle of it, Andre Ethier extending his hitting streak to 30 games. Ethier taking care of business early on a 3-0 pitch, and the Dodgers have the early lead.
Really?
Well, because, you know, coming back to New York.
Right.
Check out the Geico starting lineup for the Mets tonight. Josh Tolley, after missing the last 2, back in the lineup behind the plate. Jason Friday moves up to the 7 hole. Carlos Beltran is rolling, especially here at Citi Field. And the Mets, after winning yesterday against the Giants, down a run as they take on Hiroki Kuroda.
Hiroki Kuroda, who had signed a long-term contract with the Dodgers, then this offseason re-signed, had some offers from other teams, but wanted to re-sign with the Dodgers, where he's had really great success. In Japan, he was a Cy Young Award winner, Gold Glove winner, MVP winner.
And so he signed a 1-year deal with the Dodgers as he misses Jairo Reyes ball one. 1 year, $12 million at age 36.
Pretty good.
You know, you'd think at 36 you'd go for the security, but he really wanted to be in L.A., and that speaks well for his loyalty to the organization. Reyes sitting at 313. And Kuroda, who throws a lot of strikes, 1-1. In fact, he threw a first pitch ball to Reyes here. His last start against San Diego, 27 batters, 23 first pitch strikes.
He doesn't walk anyone.
He looks like he's a little sneaky. Got a little sneak to his fastball.
He's got that little delay, and then he kind of jumps at you.
Mets have had success against him. He's made 5 starts against the Mets, 1 and 3, 5.18. Reyes 5 for 12 against Kuroda.
Most of the Asian pitchers, they have that little delay in the middle, a little delay again with the kick of the foot, and then he kind of just jumps at you from there. Not too much leg kick, just great arm.
The right-handed Takahashi.
There you go. There you go.
Isanori Takahashi is also in Southern California this year, pitching for the Angels. Line into right center field, and Reyes has got himself an extra base hit. That'll roll all the way back to the wall. Reyes around second. He'll easily get to third. And for the second straight game, Jose Reyes has a triple. His 4th triple of the year.
Would have got this fastball down. Right down the pipe and belt high. He's pitching Jose upstairs. Jose right on it. And the rest is all watch Jose run. And Kemp just hustles after this ball, runs it down, but gets it before it gets to the wall. But you can forget it with Jose.
What to say, Gary? 4th this year, now 87 in his career. Wow.
This keeps extending his Mets club record. So the tying run on 3rd with nobody out. Dodgers have played the infield back for Daniel Murphy. Murph just 3 for his last 24 after a hot streak. And he takes off the plate for ball 1. Murphy at 256 on the year. Popped up. Carroll with the angle overcomes Sands, the left fielder, and Reyes will tag but go nowhere. And Sands fires in on 1 hop to Barajas. So Murphy can't get the run in.
Your IOTV pitch differential, and you can see that, and that's the same spot where Ethier hit the ball. 3-0.
That one on 2-2. Supposed to have a little different placement.
Hit a little harder too. I was thinking in the old days, Ethier's ball that he hit on those carpets in St. Louis and Pittsburgh and Philadelphia, that would have been a triple also. Would have went all the way to the wall.
So now David Wright will try and get the run in. David's gotten 4 out of 7 home this year with a runner at 3rd and less than 2 out. Far better than the team's average, which is 42%. The infield stays back. And Kuroda works him inside.
And we'll take a look at the Coors Light Dodger defense. 3 outfield assists for Ethier out there. And Kemp, Gold Glover out in center. Old Rob Barajas and old Metsy behind the plate.
And Kuroda goes away with the slider. 1-1. David's done well against Kuroda. 6 hits and 12 career at bats. In fact, his lifetime batting average against the Dodgers, a ridiculous 410.
Kills him.
By far his best against any club. Carlos Beltran has been hot waiting on deck. Reyes at 3rd and 1 out. And another slider wouldn't bite. 2-1. David is right at the National League average, even as the team is well below. Already missed one opportunity on Murphy's fly ball. And that's just off the plate. 3-1. The way Beltran is swinging the bat right now, it should get right. Pretty good pitch to hit.
I agree. That and the combination of Kuroda does not like to walk people.
Kind of shading right in the outfield or right opposite field, and David's been going that way. You can't second guess that placement of the outfield.
So Kuroda will pitch the 3-1, and he misses well upstairs. And that's only the 8th walk Kuroda's given up in 41 innings this year. So he's a little off early on in this game.
Well, maybe Kuroda knew the numbers of David hitting against the Dodgers, but Beltran right now is the hottest Met hitter.
Beltran riding a 5-game hitting streak and a 9-game Citi Field hitting streak. Get a 2-run homer yesterday. There's Rick Honeycutt, the Dodgers pitching coach, former teammate of yours.
That's right.
So Kuroda trying to settle in. Neese had a rough first inning, gave up just the 1 run. Now the Mets have 1st and 3rd and 1 out for Beltran, who hit his 5th home run of the year yesterday. 4 of his 5 home runs, though, have come batting right-handed. Carlos skies one out to left center. That should be deep enough to get Reyes home. Sands tries to get behind it. Reyes comes on in. The throw goes to second, and the Mets tie the game. Beltran's sacrifice fly brings home Reyes to tie the game at 1. play by David Wright to tag at first base, just in case Sands, a rookie, threw the ball home. So Beltran has his 18th run batted in, and the Mets get the run right back. Now here's Jason Bay, who returned to the lineup yesterday after a couple of days on paternity leave, went 1 for 3 and a walk. He admitted to being dead tired by the end of the game yesterday, what with the lack of sleep that generally ensues when one's wife gives birth. But back and refreshed after a night's sleep last night. And he takes it high for ball 1.
Well, David knows Barajas' arm. He knows Kuroda's approach to the plate from the stretch. Perfect this season as David will take another one here with 2 outs.
There's not been a single stolen base attempt against Kuroda so far this year. Barajas has thrown out 22%. And Bay hits one out to left center field. Sands with plenty of room out there. And onto the warning track to grab it and end the inning. But the Mets get the run right back. Jose Reyes doing what he does so well. His triple got the Mets started. Line it around. Second triple in as many days, and Beltran's sac fly gets him home to tie the game at 1. Well, with Andre Ethier getting to 30 games, who holds the Mets record for the longest hitting streak?
Oh, I got this one. I was going to say it was going to be one of my teammates, but that's not right.
Not anymore.
Happened recently.
Rod Barajas leads off. Rod back at Citi Field. Mets let him go on waivers last August, so this is his first trip back. Had a nice finish to the season for the Dodgers last year, and hit some early home runs this year, but batting just .213. 5 homers, 11 RBIs. Aaron Miles, the number 8 hitter on deck, and then the pitcher Kuroda for the Dodgers in the second.
But it's got to be great for Rod. I mean, here's a guy that I don't know. He's definitely in the more the sunset of his career, and he's getting to play for his hometown team.
Now 35 years old. Grew up in Southern California, big Dodger fan.
Remember when he was with the Mets last year, this time of year, he was so into the Lakers and what they were doing. That's his favorite team to root for.
Tough to watch him right now.
That's right.
And he's behind in the count on Barajas, 3-1. Tough guy to walk. And Barajas drives one to deep left field. Forget it. Well, Barajas, who did that quite a bit as a Met, finds the seats in left field for his 6th home run of the year, and the Dodgers go back up 2-1.
Well, if you recall, the year that he started with the Mets, he got off to a red-hot start.
was no doubt when that one left the bat.
I think he had like 11 by the end of May last.
Yes, he did.
So 3-1 fastball down middle. And the one thing about Rod is if he gets in those hitters count, he is going to let it fly.
So Barajas' 6th home run puts the Dodgers up 2-1. That's only the 4th home run Nice has given up this year, and each of the previous 3 had come after the 2nd time through the order. The first time he's really given up one early in a game. Aaron Miles, the switch hitting second baseman, takes a strike, 1-1. Miles has started more than half the games this year for the Dodgers after playing in St. Louis last year.
You know, we talk about the IOTV pitch differential all the time, and sometimes the pitch is lower than the target, but it's more middle, and it's also a 3-1 count. That's just as important as the pitch differential.
Nice with a snow cone grab, and he gets Miles for the first out.
Yeah, the big mistake there was right down Broadway.
So now the pitcher Kuroda will bat, lifetime 0.99 hitter. 1 for 15 this year. Now in his 4th year playing in the major leagues after 11 years pitching for the Hiroshima Tayo Carp.
Nice is having a lot of problems with the mound so far today. That's about the 4th or 5th time that he's lost his footing.
Is that a matter of the landing area?
It's a landing area for him so far. It's just I don't know whether he's hitting the same spot as Kuroda or.
So you have to go in there and kick some dirt up.
Yeah, exactly. Make it a little rougher.
It's a little imperative that you have a good landing spot.
Almost looks like he's trying to pitch around a certain spot.
Yeah, and almost like he's trying to, landing kind of on his toe, as opposed to getting that heel down. Just gingerly. See, he's right on his toe and not on that heel.
Two. Kuroda stays in the at-bat.
You see his motion. He kind of hooks that mound with his foot. But usually when he lands, you'll land on your toe and then your heel will really snap down. But he's landing like he's got a hurt ankle or something. That's what it looks like.
Bruise on his heel or something.
A blister. It's just interesting.
You would have to figure that if it were a mound issue that he would be doing a little manicuring out there and trying to get it right for him. The issue that had been troubling Dan Warthen was that he thought Nice was rushing, working too fast, but he seems to be working at a reasonable pace tonight. 7th pitch of the at bat, and Kuroda will force him to throw another. Well, after a 31 pitch first inning, the last thing you want is a long at bat against the opposing pitcher.
Yeah, the Dodgers did a nice job really inching that pitch count up. Just not getting a lot of that follow through that Jonathan usually gets.
Strikes out Kuroda with a curveball, his first strikeout of the night. And there are 2 down in the inning.
Uncle Charlie.
New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by RPL Equipment. From Midtown to Montauk, for all your contracting needs, visit them online at rplequipment.com. Here's Jamie Carroll, who popped up to second base to open the ball game. 2-1 LA. Rod Barajas with the leadoff home run in the second to put the Dodgers back in front. And Carroll bluffs the bunt and takes ball 1.
Well, Jonathan's faced 10 hitters now, only 1 first pitch strike.
It's not exactly a formula for success. John's given up exactly 2 earned runs in each of his last 3 starts. He's already given up 2 tonight. Here's a good fastball for a strike, 1-1. It's a lot of pitches for the first 2 innings. Let's have a fairly fresh bullpen tonight, though, with Mike Thalfrey having gone 7 2/3 yesterday and getting it straight to K-Rod.
Probably going to stay away from Francisco Rodriguez today, Terry Collins said.
42 pitches, including 40 in that tumultuous ninth inning.
That was hard to watch.
Pulled foul.
But we've seen enough of Frankie. I'm sitting home watching that and I'm going, he's going to get out of this. He's got nerves to steal. He gets out of it. He gets himself in trouble so quickly and gets himself out.
He survived the one loud foul from Miguel Tejada. It was probably his most dangerous moment.
He struck him out on the slider after that.
Carroll up on the bat. Behind in the count 1-2. And Neese gets the curveball over a strike 3 call. Back-to-back strikeouts for John Neese, who ends the second after Barajas' home run gives the Dodgers the lead. Sunset over New Jersey. 2-1 Dodgers. Ike Davis leads off the home second for New York. Ike has just 3 hits in his last 22 at bats, and he takes one low from Kuroda to start him off 1-0. So a little different start for Kuroda in this game after all the first pitch strikes he threw in his last start. Not quite so many tonight. Davis, Pridey, and Tolle for the Mets in the second. And Ike rips one deep right field down the line. It's out of here off the Pepsi porch. Number 7 for Ike Davis, and the Mets get right back even again. It's 2-2. The Mets this season have figured out how to hit home runs in this ballpark. That's the right direction to go.
Ike makes Citi Field look small at times. First ball, fastball, first pitch of the game for Ike, right down the pipe. Look at his hands. Second pitch, excuse me. I tell you what, lowering his hands in that stance of his has made a big difference. 7 home runs, folks. We're on the first week of May. It's a big red flag for National League pitching. Look at him generate all the power here. Excellent. Eye on the ball. Beautiful follow through.
So Barajas homered leading off the top of the second. Davis homers leading off the bottom of the second. Now Jason Pridey making his 9th start in center field. If you missed it earlier, Angel Pagan was to have rejoined the Mets tomorrow, but yesterday complained of some continuing pain in his oblique. He's going to come to New York tonight, be seen by the doctors, and they'll put a new game plan together for Angel. So it would appear vastly unlikely that Angel will be activated tomorrow as planned.
But he had played 2 9-inning games, hadn't he?
And had not complained after either one, but woke up the next morning and it was something. Friday takes a fastball, strike 3 called, and Kuroda has his first strikeout.
Ed Rapuano, the home plate umpire, has a nice big strike zone for these pitchers. I'm not saying this didn't catch the plate, but he could have called it down.
Yep. So 1 out now. Josh Thole, after sitting out the last 2 games to try and get his defense together as much as anything. And he hits one in the air to right field, chasing Ethier back to the warning track, right back in the Mo zone to make the catch. So Josh Thole making a bid for his first home run of the year, but hits it into that recessed area in right field.
Well, Ethier plays this nicely. As you see the fans get a big kick out of that. It's a great view to watch an outfielder make a play right in front of you.
That's going to be wild, though. When you go back there and the ball's coming down, you don't know if it's going to hit, the subway sign and bounce off or come into your glove. But you got to play it for a catch every time, because if it hits the subway, it's gone.
Now John Neese 1 for 10 on the season. Interesting game plan though for Thole there, knowing Kuroda's a guy who likes to get ahead of you. First pitch swinging and bustling up, trying to hit the ball out of the ballpark. Slow ground ball for Neese, and Loney plays it to end the inning. Well, it's an alumni weekend here at Citi Field, and among those here is former Mets shortstop Kevin Elster. He'll join us when we come back. It's the 25th anniversary of the 1986 World Champion Mets, and Amazing Memories brought to you by Citi. And here he is, shortstop Kevin Elster. Welcome. Nice to see you.
Thanks, Gary. It's great to see everybody.
What are you doing these days?
You know what? I wish I had a better story for you, but all I really do
Tell the truth.
All I really do is I go to the gym in the morning and go to the beach in the afternoon.
Nice.
That's about it.
Somehow that sounds exactly right.
That's the LA lifestyle.
That is.
Well, I know you're in Vegas for a long time, but you're back where you belong in Cali.
Yeah.
I was telling people before that the old Shea, when we used to land after a long road trip, we used to call it Lake Shea.
Lake Shea.
Because it rained so much.
Well, not only that, I mean, I think I'd look at Straw out there in right field, and his ankles being watered just about half the time. So.
You used to never like to go out in the shallow out pop-ups in the outfield on a wet day.
Yeah,
you get all soaked. And then your sanitaries are soaked. We talked about it last night. If it was April, you'd be freezing.
That's right. Lake Shea. Aptly named.
The drainage is much better these days.
I mean, I'm looking at this thing. I'm thinking, I don't know if I would have made an error out there.
Have you been to Citi Field?
No, it was my first time. Gorgeous. Absolutely wonderful.
Now, of course, you were a rookie in '86 and came up late in the season.
Yeah.
You could come into this band of knuckleheads. What was that like as a rookie?
A little intimidating, to say the least. But they were actually pretty nice to me, because I think they figured that if he screws up, we all screw up here.
Murphy charging and throws out Sands for the first down.
On a serious note, Kev, really, I think the fans would like to know is that you came up with '86, great season. You're on the roster. You're going to go in the postseason. Right. How did that feel? That had to be kind of daunting.
I was about as scared as one could be. Not only that, Max, it was more like I knew that I was scheduled to be or slated to be the starting shortstop for years to come. And if I came in and screwed this thing up, heads will roll. I'm never going to make it in the big leagues at all. So I was, the whole thing was, quite frightening, to be honest with you.
Ethier had hit his first time up to stretch his hitting streak, flies out for the second half. What's your greatest memory of that season? Because it had to be all a whirlwind for you, I suspect.
Well, I would think the final out in the 7th game was really, it was more of a relief kind of feeling to me. Well, I'm sure it was with everybody.
Yes.
That to me, that was it. And then, some photos I've seen us on the mound having some champagne and saluting the crowd. I got to be a part of that with Hojo and Aggie and some other. I think you were out there running.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So those were great memories for me. And the parade, of course.
And after you left the Mets, you had a second career as a home run hitter in Texas.
Yeah, well, the ball flies there. Let's put it that way.
I think 24.
I had 24 home runs. Yeah, I don't know where it came from. Right out of the blue. So, when I was here, I didn't concentrate on hitting very much. I really did. My job here, because we had such a lineup and such a staff here, was to play shortstop. And that's kind of how I viewed my job. Number one, first and foremost. So. It took me a long time to kind of figure it out before that switch to kick on in my head. This is how, something clicked, and I kind of figured it out.
I remember when you first came up, Kevin. I remember we first saw you in San Diego, in fact, after you signed. Well, we'll go next half inning. We'll ask you that. All right.
Nice inning for John Deese. Has his third strikeout of the night. A 2-2 ball game in the middle of the third. Giants and Dodgers tied at 2, and we're visiting with former Met Kevin Elster, part of the 86 alumni group. And you know, one of my favorite things to watch during the course of your career, especially when Ronnie was around, was the pickoff play at second base. You guys had such a knack for that.
We did. We kind of had we have a sort of a sixth sense out there, you and me. You could kind of tell when I was going to make my move. And
yeah, it was like a sixth sense. But the other thing that he used to do that no one else did is that we had such confidence in each other that he wouldn't have to go all the way around the bag to catch the ball. He would just lay his glove down there.
Right.
And I would throw it to the glove and he'd lay it down. We'd get, we'd get Lonnie Smith like every day.
Vince Coleman, Jesus. Anybody.
On the mound to get Reyes for the first time.
You know, Kev, the one thing about you when you first came up is, one, your size. I mean, 6'2", 6'3" when you came up. And I remember not only did you have the softest hands, but you would move so smoothly after the baseball. I was like, is he ever going to get there? Yes, you always did. And I'm just thinking, who taught you how to play shortstop?
No.
Or did you have a mentor, or just natural?
No, it's just natural. I never really took instruction very well. It's like when I threw people out, it would just everybody think, oh, he's going to be safe. You know, just pop. You know, ask Mex, he knows that. It just, I would barely get him, but we got him, right? No, everything was very natural for me. That's how I played the game.
Living out on the West Coast, I know these guys, because of the position they're in and because they're in New York, hear about 86 just about every day. Do people bring it up to you out there, or is it something that you're now removed from in your life?
Very much removed from. You know, there's nobody really knows anything about, you know, my New York days back in the West Coast. I don't know if they do here, to be honest with you. But no, it's actually been a fantastic day today. It's been a long day, but what the Mets are doing now is it's a really neat thing.
Do you keep up with the game at all, or?
Absolutely. You know, I'm living in LA, so I've been following Ether's hitting streak. You know, I'm glad to see you got a hit tonight.
Murphy's on with a walk.
What shortstops do you watch now in today's game and go, boy, he's quite a player?
You know, Hanley Ramirez.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to this Castro in Chicago to watching his career. Yeah. I mean, he looks like a really good one. My favorite, honestly, when I was playing was Omar Vizquel.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. He was just, to me, he was it.
Well, he and Alumni together, too.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. I mean, he's still playing. You know, I saw him pick it at second base.
Is he 44? 44. Wow.
It's amazing. No, but he was the person I really looked up to for sure.
What do you miss most being out of the game?
Being with y'all, being with the guys.
Yeah.
You know. I think that's the normal answer. Because that is the best part. It really is.
I know I missed the card games.
The card games. I love playing Hearts with you, Keith, because
that was terrible.
It was so much fun. It was so much fun to play. Much fun.
We played for dimes, folks. He took all my dimes.
Luckily for you.
It was so much fun playing with Keith. And Gary too. He was no good either.
That's right.
No, that's not true. We all had a good time playing that. It was better than playing the poker game in the back. That's
right.
Sure.
You didn't want to be in that.
Nah,
too serious.
That's a tough one. That's the big boys.
Yeah.
So this is my first time seeing the field, and I'm telling you, I took a tour of it today, and it is, you know, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
It's big. It plays big.
It does play big.
Did you see the clubhouses at all? Did you go in there?
Yeah, I walked in the Mets. I didn't know the visitor side. If only. Right? If only we played a little later.
Remember our eats room?
I do.
You had to fight for a chair.
That's right.
No, you had to leave. You had to go in shifts.
We had a little 15-inch TV, and that was it.
That was it.
On top of the soda pop.
That's right. That's right.
Refrigerator.
That's right. The little food rack we had that got knocked over. Like
all candy.
The little chips.
Candy and chips.
Candy and chips, all that good stuff.
I got broken 18,000 times. So
Eat to win.
Yeah, eat to win. Exactly.
Did you made it to the parade, right?
Yes, I did.
What do you remember about that?
Being scared, being very scared because the way the crowds kept kind of rushing the cars. I was with Kevin Mitchell, And they're all
that's scary.
That was scary to stay alone
in a crowd, a mob like that.
He's the one that
had to be with.
Yeah, no, that was fine. He kept wanting to make a left. He's like, make a left. Let's get out of here. But yeah, no, that was a little frightening. But no, it was great. Great getting the key from Mayor Ed Koch.
Loney can't quite get there.
I just remember that I'd never seen that many people in one place before. That was the crazy part. When we finally were sitting in front of City Hall, and the people were just lined up for as far as you could see.
It was intimidating, wasn't it?
But great all at the same time.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
What was it, the Canyon of Champions?
Canyon of Heroes.
Canyon of Heroes.
You didn't have to climb over any fences to get there, did you?
I did. Bobby O and I did. We were very, very tardy. We almost missed it.
Very tardy.
Shocking. Because we didn't get any sleep that night.
Right.
I love Gary. Only the 86 team, you have to ask someone, did you make the parade?
The parade. That's true.
My brother didn't make it.
Murph takes off and Wright fouls it off.
My brother was with me, and we were out till like 5 in the morning. And I said, we better just get a little bit ago. Like, if you're up that late, you might as well stay up. Yeah, that's the one.
Well, sure.
I made a mistake of trying to go to sleep, and all of a sudden I just happened to wake up, and I woke up Bobby O. He spent the night in my house, and my brother couldn't get up. That's another story. We won't go into detail on that.
Like 12 different stories in this.
It was ugly.
Oh my! I remember the bus ride, you know, from the stadium down. You know, the whole world stopped for us.
That's right.
It wasn't that wonderful. The whole city, really. We had all the escort.
Everyone has their own story.
Yeah.
Keith was pushed over the fence.
Right.
You came in the bus.
Right. I came in a bus.
I was living in the city, and I brought my parents on it.
Right.
So I had to try to get on the train. You can't get on the train when it's that kind of thing. There's the
there it is.
Yeah. There's the kid.
That's Kid.
I remember looking up, and there's Roger. That's one of that. I always
I don't know how I got up in that window, by the way. There's Roger. I remember I had to walk down Broadway the opposite way with my parents because you couldn't get on the subway. So my parents really had two parades on the way down and the way back in the car, which was great for them.
What car did they put you in?
I was in a Mustang with a Mustang.
I can't remember.
I was in a.
Beltran drives one deep right center, back toward the wall. That ball is caught.
Oh boy!
Ethier going 410 feet away to take an extra base hit away from Beltran. Well, Kevin Elster's been fantastic.
Thank you very much. Been great to see you, Gary.
All happy times to you.
Thank you very much.
Kevin Elster of the 86 to 92 New York Mets. There's the celebration. Fourth inning, Juan Uribe leads off against John Neese, who's retired 6 in a row since giving up a home run to Rod Barajas leading off the second. Uribe fouled out his first time, and he takes a wild cut of a curveball, and it's 0-2. Take those wild swings, but did a lot of connecting last year.
Everything fell into place for the Giants.
And he strikes him out with a high fastball. Fourth strikeout for Neese. He's now set down 7 in a row. So 1 out in the fourth.
Dial it up a notch.
Let's check in with Kevin Burkhardt. Kevin,
you guys, we saw Beltran make that long out to end the last inning. You know, and a constant thing with Carlos in his Met tenure here has been his exterior and the fact that he doesn't show a lot of emotion. And you know, people get on that fact, no question. I asked him today, did you ever consider changing? Did you ever think about just showing some emotion, just to show it, essentially? And he said, I really never have. You know, this is who I am. This is who I've done my entire life. Just because I don't show emotion on the outside doesn't mean I don't have passion, because I do. He said, look, I have friends that have actually said, hey, show some emotion for the cameras. But, you know, where's the line? I mean, you know, all of a sudden I start doing that, and then maybe I show somebody up by accident. It's not who I am. Bottom line is, I take this business very seriously, and that's what I show. Guys?
You have to be true to yourself.
No, you have to be, because if you try to be a false personality, it's not going to work. Poor James Loney is just caught in between right now.
By the way, speaking of Beltran, can you hit a ball harder than he just did?
That's almost a crime.
That's really
that's unfair. That's 415 where he hit it just to the right of that Geico sign.
And it sounded like a cannon shot coming off the bat.
He crushed it, and it's caught at the track. You know, it's not that staying in the ballpark is bad, but he doesn't even get hit out of it with the catch by Ethier. I mean, I played 8.5 years in a ballpark like that. If you get under the ball, it's a big out at Busch Stadium.
It's a 414 to center. Probably not as deep to right center as this one is.
It was deeper in the gaps. It was as deep. 384 is a pretty deep, serious gap. Then you had the Astrodome. Remember, it was 396 in the gaps. Wow. Ridiculous.
1-2 to Loney. Right back through Neese, and it hits the cushion. Reyes was going to be there to make a play, but Loney gets the pinball shot for the Dodgers' 5th hit.
Well, when you're in a slump, normally you don't get breaks like this. I mean, Reyes has got it covered. That's a big out. 6-3 on your scorecard. Again, though, with Neese falling off to that third base side, not really in a position to field. That was kind of a one-hopper or a play that he could have made.
So 1 out and 1 on. Now Rod Barajas, who hit his 6th home run of the year, leading off in the second inning. Neese had retired 7 in a row after that before Loney's hit. And the curveball for ball 1.
Well, Barajas likes that ball down, like all hitters today. Right-hand hitters as well as left. They're all low ball hitters, most of them. And that was right in his wheelhouse.
He's looking for the ground ball. Barajas very slow. Perfect double play candidate. Takes the curve for a strike.
You know, guys, hearing you talk with Kevin Elster about all the camaraderie you had and all the fun times. I was talking to Barajas today, and I didn't even bring it up. He said, you know what, I'm kind of almost nervous today. He's like, I know I wasn't here long, but I really had a good time here. I really like playing with these guys, and I know it didn't work out, but you know, I'm really looking forward to tonight and playing here and seeing all those guys. It's amazing how that bond, even for a short time, can leave that lasting impression, right?
Well, he's making an impression tonight, 2 for 2. Well, he was a big part of a core of veteran players whom the Mets brought in last year, who had a big impact the first half of last year.
Well, I'll never forget in the beginning of the year, back-to-back walk-off home runs by Barajas one day and then Henry Blanco the next. But I think they wanted the veteran catchers to come in here and work with the younger pitching staff.
I mean, you had some guys who really understood about team play and you know, camaraderie in the clubhouse, and for the first half of last year it translated on the field as well. Barajas was part of that. Core was part of that. Frank Core was part of that.
It was the second half. It just fell apart.
Well, and all those guys were gone by the middle of August. Out to right center off the bat of Miles, and chasing it down is Pridey. He was looked awfully good playing center field. That's the second out. And Pagan's absence extended. Looks like Jason's going to get a more extended shot of playing out there. So 2 out and 2 on, and Hiroki Kuroda coming up.
It's so funny how the world of Major League Baseball works. Here's Pridey, probably, thinking to himself, Pagan's coming back tomorrow, worrying about, am I going to be the guy? Am I have to go back to Buffalo or stay here? And then got a reprieve. And deservedly so. He's done everything you could ask him.
And he might well get a reprieve when Pagan comes back. I mean, he certainly has outplayed the other outfielders with whom he's in competition on this team. Just a matter of whether the Mets want to stay with the more veteran players or give a chance to Pridey. Because, what you don't know about Pridey is what he can do for you coming off the bench. And with guys like Harris and Hairston, they've done that. And Nice behind on the opposing pitcher, 2-0. Jamie Carroll would be next. .80 pitches already for Nice in the 4th inning. And a ball over the mound, but Reyes should be able to scoop it up and throws out Kuroda to end the inning. 2 hits and 2 left. Middle of the 4th, we're tied at 2.
I remember my first time in New York, and we're on the bus, coming with the Cardinals, and Lou Brock came back and sat with me. We're coming over the Triborough Bridge. And Lou Brock says, "Keith, there's millions of stories in New York, and guess what? You're one of them now."
Let's answer our AT&T trivia question. We asked who holds the Mets record for the longest hitting streak.
Mr. Lou, right?
Moises Alou, 30 straight games.
Didn't Mike Vail have it for a long time?
Mike Vail had a 23-game hitting streak. Huey Brooks tied that, I believe, and then Piazza had a 24-gamer. But the thing about Moises Alou, and he wasn't, ever able to stay in the lineup for long stretches as a Met, but you could wake him up at 2 in the morning and he hit a line drive somewhere.
You could bring him up, let him take BP, and he'd get an out. Somehow,
Right now.
Right now.
Yeah.
Right now. It was just a shame he had such a injury-plagued career with such a talent.
You can make the argument that if he had not lost, and it was almost 6 years to injuries, he would have been a candidate for the Hall of Fame.
Been a better player than his father. Was a better player than his father. Felipe.
Who was an awfully good player.
Oh boy. My favorite Giant.
Jason Bay hit one to the warning track and left his first time. Mets have hit a couple of long fly balls in this game. Bay and Tolley and Beltran all hitting him back to the warning track. But the confines of this yard, different. Mets have hit one home run tonight. Ike Davis hit it down the line and right. That's the spot to go to. And Bay pulls one to the hole, base hit. Well, Jason's aboard to start the bottom of the fourth, and the Mets have the leadoff man on for the third time in 4 innings.
Well, Jason, a top hand hitter. You could pitch him down, try to keep it down on Jason, get something to break down. He has a problem with it here, but this ball stayed flat. The slider just out of the reach of the rebate.
Mets have 3 hits, and they've all come leading off innings. So now Ike Davis, who hit his 7th home run off the facing of the Pepsi porch in the 2nd inning. 7 homers, 23 RBIs now for Ike. Each team scored in each of the first 2 innings.
Look how low he's holding his hands. I love it. Nope. Here's the solo shot. Look at the generation of that power. Good rhythm. Transfer of the power off the back leg forward. Beautiful. So Keith, by him lowering his hands, he's eliminated one of the steps in his swing. He's shortened it. I got it. Enormously shortened it.
You were demonstrating the other day, Keith, how he's able to drop his hands and still get his bat to the hitting zone.
Right. Well, when he had it up so high, he was dropping it nearly 3 feet. No, 2.5 feet. Now with his hands held low, he can go down with it, and it's only going around 6 inches. He's still going to his take back. Still, he brings his hands behind his back a little bit towards the hand cook sign there. If you watch his hands. So watch the hands drive back. She had a little bit of hardly any drive when he goes back. Now his hands are going back instead of down, then back. And that's perfect balance. Look how you can just drive a spear right through him, right down to the center of his body. He's got perfect balance. So he's trouble, man. Look out, National League.
19 home runs as a rookie last year, 7 already this year in less than a fifth of a season.
Plus, he has that wonderful knowledge of the strike zone. And I think that Gary, with that less of the take back now, where they shortened that take back, you won't see him getting out in front when he goes in a slump more and swinging at bad pitches in the dirt. He does have a terrific eye.
Jason Pridey on deck. Bay at first will sneak a steal every now and again. And Davis pulls one down to Loney, gets the out at first, and Bay tagged out for the double play. 3-3-6. 2 out and nobody on.
Well, nice play by Loney here, and I give Kuroda credit here. He came in and got him inside after he got hurt inside the first time up. Loney could have taken it either way with the slow running Davis.
It's interesting that Loney was able to throw that over the head of Bay and really did a nice job of having the ability not to rush it and just kind of throw it over like a nice lead pass for a layup down court.
It's like anything else, Gary. Ronnie, when you're confident what you're doing, everything's in slow motion. Just like when you have to throw that 3-2 bases loaded split finger, it's all in slow motion. So he knew he had the time. He just threw it, just lofted it over.
It's tough to get it over the linebackers and in front of the defensive backs.
That's exactly.
1-1 to Pridey.
Excellent analysis.
Loney was a guy with a pitcher, and he's just got tremendous confidence in his ability to throw.
going to be interesting for me, Keith. You're talking about the 2 outs and starting something, but you were talking about Ike Davis and how dangerous it looks right now. The biggest spot in the lineup for the Mets, now that they've lengthened it with Bay in the lineup, is that 7th place hitter behind him. And if I'm pitching, I'll tell you right now, Ike Davis is not getting anything. That's going to sound like a criticism of Friday. It's not. I'm just saying that Ike is not going to be 7th place hitter is going to be.
Well, when Pagan comes back, assuming everybody else is healthy, either he'll go in the 2-hole and Murphy will hit 7th,
yeah.
or Murphy will stay in the 2-hole and Pagan will hit 7th.
I think if Pagan comes back and plays and hits like he can, he'll be in the 2nd spot. It's too much speed.
Righty pops one up. In comes the left fielder Sands, and he puts it away to end the inning. So the Mets get a leadoff hit, but double play helps Kuroda out after 4, tied at 2. Out of Ike Davis on the hot start to his 2nd season. Oh, we just did that. Plus an inside look at Jason Friday's first tour in the majors with the Mets on Mets Weekly. New episode Sunday at 6, only on SNY.
We're just going to replay Keith's analysis.
See a different perspective. Third time around the Dodger batting order for John Neese. Jamie Carroll is 0 for 2. And he takes outside for ball 1. Of course, everywhere the Dodgers go these days, they're subject to questions about the status of their ownership situation. And it's been quite well publicized with Frank McCourt and his soon-to-be ex-Jamie, who either both owned or one of them owned the team. And the commissioner's office has basically taken control of the franchise by appointing a trustee, Tom Schiefer, to run things, and Mr. McCourt is threatening to sue Major League Baseball, which according to the bylaws he's not allowed to do. So it's quite the drama, and very differently from the way that the Mets' well-publicized issues have been experienced in their clubhouse. There's been a lot more for the Dodgers players and managers and coaches to deal with in terms of having to answer questions about it on an everyday basis.
Well, I will tell you, my opinion, and I don't think Major League Baseball is ready to say any of these things, but they are going to take over that franchise. I mean, it's going to happen. And for whatever reasons, there's so many. So that franchise will be taken over.
Jerry Sands is 1 for 2. He's issuing his first walk, and Sands runs into the ball. That's a fair ball, or is it? Did he call it foul?
Yep, he's out.
He's out. Yeah, there's no question that ball hit him in fair territory. home plate umpire Ed Rapuano made an ambiguous call, but ultimately saying that Sands is out, and that is certainly the case. 2 unassisted on the putout.
Yep. Here's a good angle right here.
Delta keep climbing overhead cam, and there's no question.
Well,
fair territory.
You know what's interesting for these hitters here is that they want their cake and eat it too. He's put in a position where he's supposed to sacrifice the runner over, but they want to get that hit also, and that cost him. If you sacrifice, you get the bunt down, and then you proceed to first base.
Not madly out to argue. I'm not sure exactly why. Anyway, Sands is out. Carroll has to go back to first base, and that's the first out of the inning. And Andre Ethier, the batter.
Look at that on base percentage. You know, the one thing that guys getting back to that, the Dodgers supposedly have a $3 billion, I think, is the number, television deal that
with Fox, right?
With Fox, I believe, yes, that has not been approved by Major League Baseball. So, for the Dodgers, they're saying, hey, listen, you approved the TV deal, we're hunky-dory, everything's good.
Right.
But baseball will not approve it.
Ethier has his second hit of the night. Steaming around second, Carroll. He'll head for third. Pridey's throw to third base is offline. Heading for second, Ethier, and he'll make it without a throw. Jason Pridey overthrowing the cutoff man, allowing Ethier to take the extra base. Second and third and 1 out.
Well, he has a shot to throw him out. Just a terrible throw. There's Reyes right there in the cutoff spot. As you saw Reyes, he's got to hit Reyes, and then this back runner cannot advance. But once he overthrows Reyes, and a good read by by Andre Ethier, so he sees that looping throw. He didn't waste any time. And this is one of those things that doesn't show up in the box score. Jamie Carroll again taking that extra base.
37 years old, let's remember, and aggressively going first to third. So the tie-breaking run at third with 1 out, and Matt Kemp takes inside for ball 1. Well, during his 30-game hitting streak, Ethier now has 11 multiple hit games. And the Mets are going to walk Kemp intentionally and fill the empty base, and they'll go after Juan Uribe, a guy much more likely to chase a pitch with the bases loaded.
On his last at bat, of course, you remember that Nice struck him out on that high fastball, so he could be a strikeout victim. It's a good move.
And Kemp has been roaring hot. He's kind of gotten lost with all that Ethier has done. That intentional ball 3 was almost a wild pitch. Some guys have trouble with intentional balls.
Yes. Well, what happens is that they don't complete their motion, a lot of them. They just are in between throwing the ball over there. You should just do the motion you would do to throw a strike. There we go.
Willie Davis's numbers updated. Boy, it only took 42 years.
And you said he got against the Mets, right?
He did. He got 30 and 31 against the Mets. And in fact, 31 was a pretty good story. Let's watch Uribe first, though, with the bases loaded and 1 out. Uribe's 0 for 2, and he hits the curveball past the mound. That'll get the run in. Reyes will have to go to first, and the Dodgers regain the lead. Well, if Nice gets it, Mets have a chance to turn 2, or at least get the force at the plate. But it just got by Nice. Uribe retired, but he drives in his 16th run, and it's 3-2 LA.
Nice effort by John there, laying out, but not even hit hard enough to even turn 2 and look at the second base umpire. That's Alfonso Marquez had to get down.
Mercedes-Benz Ultramo brought to you by your Tri-State dealers on the web at searchmercedes.com.
You want to win a ball game as a starter. These are the outs that you have to get. Second and third, 2 outs.
Struggling hitter, and Loney hits the comebacker. And Nice makes the play to end the inning. The Dodgers scratch out a run. A leadoff walk comes up back to bite Nice halfway through. 3-2 Dodgers. Time for another round of 86 Amazing Memories, brought to you by Citi. And the Mets' backup catcher in 1986 was Ed Hearn. Came over with David Cohn from involved in that David Cohn trade, but here's Kevin Burkhardt with Ed Hearn.
Yeah, part of the Citi Mets alumni. The ongoing thing the Mets do is great. All these guys come back, and talking about '86, Kevin Elster was up in the booth before. I'm wondering, you come up in May, and when you get there, Davey brings you up. What do you see? What do you feel?
Well, I feel, I see that the club. I mean, I'm with the club the last couple of spring trainings, so I mean, I know we've got the talent and everything, and it was just an outstanding situation. And what I remember most is Shea Stadium rocking and rolling. This is right now a little different, unfortunately, but one day when this place gets rocking, it'll bring back the real deep memories of Shea Stadium.
How did you work with the different pitchers and the different personalities? I mean, give me a little idea what an in-game or even a before-game meeting was with the different guys.
Absolutely. As a catcher, you got to be half a psychologist. You go out to the mound, you might have 15 or 18 different guys during the season. You got to know not only their physical stuff, but you got to know what's up here. And people always want to know, well, what do you tell them? Well, it depends on the guy. Some guy like you, I'd probably have to get in your face, man, just fire you up, man. Like, come on, let's go, kid. Come on, get in.
I'm a little worried right now.
But other guys give back. Come on, baby. Just relax. Hey, you see that chick over there in section 102? I mean, you got to break the.
Whatever works.
I mean, they're thinking too much.
When you. Let's say when you're before the game, when you're meeting, when you're talking about a series, give us a take inside the clubhouse when you're meeting with the guys. What things are discussed? I mean, and especially it's different. I mean, you have so much video now. Tell us about what was happening there.
I can't imagine today with all the video. It's a whole lot different. We had advanced scouts and all. We go over, everybody, all the hitters, and we know their basic strengths, weaknesses, who was hot, who wasn't. But the most important thing for a catcher in working with a pitcher was working to his strengths first. I mean, that's more important than trying to pitch to a hitter's weakness. If the pitcher's really got it working, that's fine. Then you can really get in there and pitch to the hitter's weakness. But it's most important you keep that guy confident, keep him pitching ahead, no matter who's hitting.
You think there's some guys get away from that today? Do you see some guys, worrying more about the hitter than about them?
Yeah, you got guys lasting, just 5.5, 6 innings, and back then you have guys back in those days, guys going, they're shooting for 9 innings right out of the gate. And today these pitch counts and everything, and you get guys nibbling around, not going at hitters, and I think that's just a big mistake.
What was it like in the bullpen as Tully struck out, by the way, with that Shanice up with 1 out against Kuroda here at Citi Field? Talking to Ed Hearn, what was it like? Bullpen catching Dwight. He's about to start.
Doc was incredible. I love Doc. I started catching Doc in '83 in Lynchburg, Virginia, and the Doc, man, he's pretty mellow guy off the field, but when he prepared in the bullpen, I mean, he turned into a tiger. And a lot of people didn't see that side of him, but man, he was just he was cocked and loaded when he came out of that bullpen.
How did you describe that? Because we certainly, Doc is more of a mellow guy. So how did he turn into a tiger? Was it his face? I mean, why do you say that?
Oh, you can just see the look in the eyes. I mean, it's up there in the eyes. And I remember one game in particular in San Francisco. He was pitching, and Dan Gladden, Kevin Mitchell pegged Dan Gladden at the plate, and I had to lean back to catch the ball before Gladden just plastered me. I mean, he laid me down. I had no choice, but I had to give so I could catch the ball. And so I'm rolled out pretty hard, and man, Doc was ready to go right after Gladden in a heartbeat. And today I don't know if the guys are like that today. I mean, that was one of the fun things about the team. We had each other's back. And that was fun, and definitely Doc was a great example of that.
Definitely not too many collisions like that at home playing more. Ed, great to catch up to you. Talk a little 86, okay?
Always great, man.
Ed Hearn, guys, let's go back to you.
The always enthusiastic Ed Hearn.
Jeez. Ward Cleaver. That was his nickname. His name, Ward Cleaver.
Why?
Because he was such a nice guy, and he was very soft-spoken. Hugh Beaumont was so soft. It was my favorite dad. I never saw that side of Ward before.
Ed was not quite as enthusiastic.
I've never seen Ed so fired up.
It's good to see.
And remember one thing about Ed. He was one of the unsung heroes of that season. Gary Carter went down with, what did he do? Did he break his... He did something. He was out 6 weeks. Gary, I forget.
I thought it was hand related, but...
And Ed came in, had to play every day, and did a great job filling in until Gary came back.
Well, John Neese having himself an extraordinary at bat. He was already seen 8 pitches and making Kuroda work hard. And it's inside and a full count to Neese. With Reyes to follow, Mets have fallen behind twice in this game and tied it immediately. Trying to do the same again after falling behind for a 3rd time. And Neese finally rolls over one to second base. And Miles throws him out 2 away. Meanwhile, in Philadelphia tonight, Derek Lowe has a no-hitter against the Phillies through 6 innings.
Wow. Rookie pitcher against Cliff Lee today.
Bottom of the 6th is over now. 3-0 going to the 7th. So here's Reyes, who tripled leading off the 1st inning and scored a run. Then a comebacker in the 3rd, so he's 1 for 2. And bluffs the bunt ball 1. By the way, Lowe has walked 1 in his 6 innings, thrown 83 pitches. So that's one to keep an eye on. Just days after the first no-hitter in Major League Baseball this season. From the Twins' Francisco Liriano.
Oh boy, he's got a low strike zone. Anyway, I tell you what, Rappiano, we talked about it earlier. He's got a big strike zone, but he's been consistent. He is calling that borderline knee strike, giving it to the pitcher, and he's calling that borderline letter strike, giving it to the pitcher. Pitcher's dream.
Reyes hits one out to left center. A long run for Sands back in the gap, and it goes off his glove. And Reyes is on the move again. Recovered by Kemp. Reyes trying for 3rd. The relay throw not in time. The 2nd triple of the night for Jose Reyes.
Well, we've seen a lot of this here in this ballpark. If you can't fly out there in the outfield, then you got to play deeper. That's really basically a fly ball, just out of his range there. And with a guy like Reyes in the ballpark like this, that can turn into an inside the park home run. So I think from a caution point of view, that nice cut on it by Reyes. You've got to play a shade deeper in this park. What a year Jose's having.
You gotta love Chip Hale too, right?
No, my favorite part of the triple is watching Chip Hale hit all 4s.
So the tying run at 3rd with 2 out. And now Murphy. Daniel was flied out and walked tonight, 0 for 1. Now Reyes with a 2 triple game. He now has 5 for the year to lead the National League. And leads all of Major League Baseball since he began his career. 6th time in his career he's had 2 triples in a game. I think only one Mets had 3 triples in a game. I think that was Doug Flynn, wasn't it? To look that one up. One and 0 to Murphy. After that, just 4 hits in this game. The 2 triples by Reyes, the homer by Davis, and a single for Jason Bay. Doug Flynn in Montreal, 1980. And we met to have 3 triples in a game.
Singing infielder.
Country Western.
That's right.
Lexington, Kentucky. He was up here visiting not long ago.
That's right. That was part of the another Mets alumni weekend, I believe.
Doug Flynn was part of the original Tom Seaver trade. Pat Zachary, Steve Henderson, Dan Norman.
Dan Norman.
And Doug Flynn, 4 players the Mets got when they traded Seaver in '77. Two and one to Murphy with Reyes at third and 2 out. On the right side, and Miles makes the play to end the inning. So Reyes with his second triple of the night, but the Mets can't get him in. After 5. SNY.TV, the ultimate blog network featuring a continuous flow of sports news straight from the best New York sports blogs. SNY.TV, your online home of all things New York sports. 6th inning, 3-2 LA. Ron Barajas back at Citi Field, 2 for 2 tonight with a homer and a single. And he starts him off outside, 1-0. Probably will be the final inning for John Neese, who threw 95 pitches through the first 5 innings. One and 1 to Barajas with Miles and Kuroda to follow. 7, 8, and 9 in the Dodger order. And Ryota Igarashi on call in the Mets bullpen.
I will say, though, if Jonathan could have a quick inning, we've seen him in the past able to go to 115, 120 at times, and he's not up next inning. Quick inning though he needs.
One and 2 to Barajas. Well, in Kansas City tonight, they have close to a sellout crowd. Royals are off to a nice start. They're 17 and 14, and today they called up one of the biggest prospects in baseball, and for Kansas City, maybe the biggest prospect since they brought up Bo Jackson 25 years ago, a kid named Eric Hosmer, who has just been crushing it in AAA. Barajas hits one down toward the left field corner, and Bay goes as far as he can. It's a foul ball. Hosmer in AAA at Omaha was hitting .439, and he has been highly touted. And there's been a lot of conversation about the Royals and their farm system, and then maybe being a year or two away, but getting off to the fast start, they're cashing some of the chips now.
Exactly. They have as good of minor league prospects that are ready to play in the major leagues, or on the cusp of being ready to play in the major leagues, as anyone in the game.
The only unfortunate part about Hosmer being called up is he's taking the roster spot of Kila Kauhuhe.
No, he's
all Hawaii is in mourning.
Well, I just like saying Kila Ka'ahu'e because I finally learned how to say it.
I know it's tough.
It took a long time.
It's a hard one. My mom has it down pat. I don't even go there.
Just call him Kila.
Yeah, Hawaiian from Kansas City.
1-2. And Barajas hits one out to center field. Priney back, but plenty of room. And that's the first down. Let's check in with the studio. Chris Carlin standing by with the New York State Smokers Quit Line game break. I'm sorry, what did you say?
I think he said 15 strikeouts.
6 2/3, that's 20 outs. 15 of 20?
Wow.
But he's given up 9 hits. Aaron Miles fouls it off. Wow. Well, he now has 16 strikeouts through 7, and he's losing. Shades of Steve Carlton.
There you go.
Carlton, remember, in 1969, set the record with 19 strikeouts, and the Mets beat him that night. But that's what happened that year.
Swoboda hit two-run home runs, right?
You know, I was talking earlier, I was about to start the story about Willie Davis and the 31-game hitting streak, the Dodger record that Ethier will try and tie tomorrow night. When Davis hit in his 31st straight game against the Mets in 1969, September the 3rd, he was 0 for 4, and the Dodgers had a 4-0 lead going to the 8th inning, so it looked like he wasn't going to get another turn back. But the Mets scored 4 runs in the 8th to tie, and so Davis got another chance. However, he came to bat in the bottom of the 9th inning with a runner at second and first base open.
4-4 game.
4-4 game. Wes Parker and Andy Koska were the next 2 hitters. Gil Hodges elected to pitch to Willie Davis. Davis got the hit, won the game, and got the hitting streak to 31.
Wow.
Off Jack DeLauro. So what will be the drama for Ethier tomorrow? We'll see. Chris Young will start for the Mets tomorrow night. One and 2 to Aaron Miles, and misses low and inside. By the way, if you're looking ahead to that, Ethier's had 29 at bats against Chris Young, hitting .414 with 6 home runs in 29 at bats.
Wouldn't it be ironic, right?
If Young were the guy to stop him. 3 and 2 to Miles, and the curveball gets him looking. Nicely done by John Neese. Put him in the freezer for his 5th strikeout.
Well, Miles can only laugh because I'm not sure that as an 8th place hitter, Aaron Miles has seen a lot of 3-2 hooks. What a pitch to throw.
Tonight's Twisted But True Fact is brought to you by Twisted Tea, Hard Iced Tea. We've had some doozies so far.
Are they really true?
Let's see. As a rookie, Cy Young was traded to the Cleveland Spiders for $300 in a suit. Who got the suit?
Those owners, I tell you, they were into suits. Hit this sign, you get a free suit.
That was Abe Stark.
Player of the game, get a suit.
Well, he was Cy Young. He probably was worth more than that. Remember Greg Olson, the catcher, not Greg Olson, the pitcher, but Greg Olson, the catcher, played for the Braves. He was playing for an independent team in Minnesota, and he got traded to the Braves for a box of balls.
Really?
Yep.
It's a little embarrassing. Makes for a good story, but it's a little embarrassing. Come on.
Hope they were signed to this. 3-1 to Kuroda, and he throws a strike. John has walked 2. They both came in the 5th inning. One was intentional, but the one that hurt more was the leadoff walk that came around to score the run that right now is the difference in the game. And he walks Kuroda, and that may be his final pitch of the night. 3rd walk, and now with the leadoff hitter Jamie Carroll coming up, Terry Collins pops out of the dugout. And he will bring on Ryota Igarashi to try and finish off this 6th inning. So Nice goes 5 2/3, allows 3 runs and 7 hits, and he'll leave trailing by a run. Call to the bullpen brought to you by Lincoln as Igarashi makes his way in. 3-2 LA in the 6th. We'll be right back. Continues tomorrow night at 7:10 p.m. Tickets start at $10. Visit Mets.com or call 718-507-TIXX for your tickets now. Ryota Igarashi pitched an inning in 2/3 2 days ago.
See his numbers so far this year. The one thing that we have not seen from him that he was throwing early in the year was his curveball. Kind of has chucked that for his fastball and split finger.
Jamie Carroll drew the leadoff walk in the 5th inning and then came around to score the go-ahead run after going 1st to 3rd aggressively on Ethier's hit. Scored on a ground out. Pitcher Kuroda on at first with 2 out. John Nice threw 116 pitches tonight, 1 shy of a career high. Threw 31 pitches in the 1st inning, and that kind of put him up against the 8 ball the rest of the day.
I'll tell you though, you're kicking yourself if you're a starting pitcher. I don't walk the pitcher. I'm sitting on the bench. Maybe my mates get a couple of runs. I get a win. Instead, out of the game.
And Carroll takes one the other way and greets Igarashi with a base hit. Kuroda pulling in at second, so 2 out and 2 on. And Jerry Sands will be the batter. Rookie Sands is 1 for 3. Singled and scored back in the 1st. Two out and 2 on, and Sands fouls the first pitch fastball back. Sands had 35 home runs in the minor leagues last year. He's had 51 big league at bats and still looking for number 1.
Yeah, he's got some pop and he can hit. He's one of those guys again. You know, the Mets had it, Daniel Murphy a couple seasons ago, trying to find him a position. He's an infielder, outfielder.
Started a couple of games at first base this year. Mostly played left field.
And there's the curveball from Igarashi. 0-2.
Andre Ethier would be next. Ethier already with 2 hits tonight to extend his hitting streak to 30 games. Oh-2, and Sands takes it off the plate. 1-2. Dodgers, like so many teams this year, have been challenged to score runs. Of course, they're missing some key components, guys like Furcal and Blake. But they are averaging less than 3.7 runs per game. That's 12th in the league.
It's amazing to me with all the advanced training that they have now, and every team that comes in here is missing 2 or 3 parts. Injuries, and the offense is down. I mean, it's just really down, and there's not a lot of powerhouse teams in the league that I've seen. Look at the Rockies, who are at their best, of course, in that 4-game series,
And the Cardinals are kind of
and Philadelphia is, you know, they've got the lineup.
2-2, and Sands strikes out on the fastball, so Igarashi gets the final out in the top of the 6th. That's up the heart of the batting order coming up. Burger, the premium steakhouse burger and the official burger of the New York Mets. By Verizon 4G LTE, rule the air on the most advanced 4G network in the world. And by State Farm, today's State Farm agent of the day, of course, is Pat Cauley of Glendale. No. Contact Pat's office at patcauley.org. Here's today's Toyota Text Bowl. What record has the least chance of being broken? Cal Ripken's streak of consecutive games, Nolan Ryan's strikeout record, Cy Young's 511 wins, or Joe DiMaggio's 56-game hitting streak. Text 57508 or SNY.TV, and I'll tell you that it's none of those. You could have it's none of those. Johnny Vandermeer. Nobody's going to pitch 3 straight no-hitters. Nobody's breaking that record.
That's right. That's true. Tie it. Could be all the above.
But of those 4, which one do you think?
You got to have Ian there, all the above. 511.
511, I think, is the one that can't be because of the way the game is played today. 300 is going to be tough for anybody to approach anymore, as Taylor Buchholz is up in the Mets bullpen. Here's David Wright leading off in the home 6th with the Mets down by a run. Keep in mind as this game progresses that the Dodgers today put their closer Jonathan Broxton on the disabled list because of an elbow injury. So the closer of the moment for the Dodgers appears to be Vicente Padilla. That will certainly affect the way Don Mattingly manages the rest of this game.
Boy, Padilla has filled a lot of roles in his career, hasn't he?
It's been very effective.
Yeah.
He tends to
wear out his welcome wherever he goes, but he's been a very successful pitcher.
He's been here in Los Angeles a long time. He's got that slow curve, though, he probably has to shelve when he comes out of the bullpen.
Wright has walked and struck out tonight, 0 for 1. Ball and a strike. Hong-Chi Kuo, whom the Mets have never had much luck against, the left-hander up in the bullpen. Blake Hawksworth, the former Cardinal, is the right-hander. Kuo just came back off the disabled list on Sunday.
What a year he had last year.
Bounce toward the hole. Carroll on the backhand has to make the running toss and out at first base. Well, Carroll does not have a great arm, and that was not an easy throw to make, but he just got it there in time.
Well, he compensates by the running throw right there. He got to the ball quickly, and he did get it. Just got it. I don't know what happened to Loney there, falling down. Just barely kept his toe on. Long reach there by Loney.
First base umpire Brian O'Nora right on top of it. So 1 out and nobody on. Now Beltran, who hit a ball about as well as you can hit it the last time up. Hit it to the absolute wrong place in the ballpark. Distant right center field, and Ethier caught it 2 steps from the wall.
Pulls this one right over the bag. That's an extra base hit going down the line. It hits the jutting stand, so Ethier has to go further to get it. And Beltran cruises into second with a 1-out double. 12th double of the year for Beltran, the most in the National League.
Oh, this is a great shot right here. Carlos has been hitting that low ball of late, the breaking ball down over the middle, and that is ball ripped down the line right there in the corner. 10-game hitting streak for Beltran, and another extra base hit here in Citi Field. There's the tap of the foot. You see Carlos takes his foot back. You notice that, kids out there.
Mercedes-Benz Ultra Mode brought to you by your tri-state dealers on the web at searchmercedes.com. He's just hitting the ball hard every time. This is the Beltran of 2006.
Agreed.
So here's Bay to try and get the tying run home from second. Jason fly deep to left in the first. Single to left in the fourth. 1 for 2. That's now a 5 hits off Kuroda. By the way, Shane Victorino broke up Derek Lowe's no-hit bid with a leadoff single in the 7th in Philly. 3-0 Braves, despite Cliff Lee's 16 strikeouts. And it's on the inside corner, a strike, 0-2. The Mets have struggled all year with runners in scoring position. 227 starting the day, even worse than that. With 2 out, they're under 200. 1 out here as Bay tries to get the run in. Derek Collins was pointed in his remarks after the Mets lost to Lincecum on Wednesday night about approaching these at bats.
And he was at 100% correct.
Pulled down to third, and Uribe has it. Checks Beltran and throws out Bay for the 2nd out.
They'll hit the ball hard, but right at Uribe.
So now Ike Davis, he got first base open and Jason Friday on deck. Would you pitch to Davis here, even though you'd be putting the lead run on base?
I would, because of Friday behind him, I'd walk him. Absolutely, that's what I was talking about before. And Friday's a rookie.
I mean, the conventional strategy, and it really applies more later in games, is that you don't put the go-ahead run on base.
Exactly, and this is deep enough not to do it. They're going to put him on, and I wouldn't take a chance. Ike has just been red hot all year. You can't pitch to him. I agree.
So Ike will get the respect of the intentional walk in a non-conventional situation. It'll be his 3rd intentional walk of the season.
So now if we get into this game, Gary, you were talking about runners in scoring position for the Mets. So their last 5 games now into this game here, they're 0 for 3. The Mets are 6 for 46.
Well, that means they did better yesterday, because they were 4 for 37 going into yesterday's game. So Jason Friday will get an opportunity with 2 out and 2 on after the intentional pass to Davis. And there's ball 4.
And as a hitter, Keith, the guy's been walked ahead of you. You're trying to make your mark as a first-year player here with the Mets. This is a really good chance for you.
Absolutely. And even if you're a veteran, you know, you never like the manager walking someone in front of you to pitch to you.
But these are those situations that Terry was talking about where he doesn't want to see his hitters guessing. He doesn't want to see his hitters swinging for the fences.
Stay away from the computers, Garrett. Stay away from all that pitcher throws a curveball 60% of the times first pitch or 2-1 count. Fastball. Fastball gear fastball. You're getting a count 2-0. Why do you want to hit a curveball? They throw you a hanger, you jump on it. They throw you a fastball, you cover it like a rash.
So let's see if it's a jump or a rash for Pridey.
Sound like Ed Hearn.
That's a good fastball on the inside edge from Kuroda, 0-1. Pridey's taking a call third strike and fly to left, 0 for 2. Beltran the tying run at second. Davis at first with 2 down. Again, Barajas sets up inside, and Pridey hits one deep to right field. Back goes Ethier to the track. Back at the wall. It's out of here! Jason Pridey foils the strategy with a 3-run homer. And the Mets take the lead 5-3.
Slider. Something hanging right there. Wasn't a fastball.
Looks like he was trying to cut that fastball in.
And you know what? Pridey's got some pop. He's showing some power.
His 3rd home run. He also had 3 at Buffalo before being called up. And none bigger than that one. Don Mattingly opting to walk Ike Davis, which seemed like the right thing to do, but Pridey made it the wrong thing to do.
Well, good for that young man. I wonder what his wife's going to tell him when he gets home tonight about that swing.
So now it's 5-3 New York. Mets in front of this game for the first time. They've come from behind 3 separate times. Here's Josh Thole taking low and in for ball 1.
Perfect.
Go back to John Neese. Remember?
Yep.
Neese walked the pitcher with 2 out.
Yep. He had a chance for a win.
Then Willie Neese.
He's got to be kicking himself right now.
Yep.
Happens though.
So those runs belong to Igarashi instead. And Thole has to skip again. And it's 2-0.
Well, it's apparent that Kuroda's a little bit shook here. He's got to collect himself.
Yeah, he's throwing angry. He had quite a demonstration out there on that mound after the 3-run bomb by Pridey.
Don't throw it. He hung it.
Didn't want to walk him. It wasn't my idea. Hit hard, and Tolley's got himself a base hit down the line. That'll go all the way in the corner. Josh races for second and pulls in there with a 2-out double. The 3rd extra base hit of the inning for New York, and Tolley's 4th double of the year.
Well, from his first at bat, when he was looking at that first pitch and pulled it and hit it deep to right field, Thole a little more aggressive in this game.
So now the Mets will send up Scott Hairston as a pinch hitter. Mets have 1 left-hand hitter on the bench in Willie Harris, but they'll save him for later and go with the right-hand hitter Hairston here. Taylor Buchholz getting ready to pitch the 7th inning for New York. Rick Honeycutt on the phone to see who's ready. They had Hawksworth and Quo both up in the bullpen.
They've been throwing for a half hour. I hope they are ready. Good.
Here comes Don Mattingly. And he's going to make a little flip-flop here, I believe.
So So that's going to be all for Kuroda. After 5 2/3, his pitcher is not due for another 7 batters. I'm not quite sure why Mattingly's making a double switch here. The number 2 hitter Sands made the last out, but he will bring Tony Gwynn Jr. into the game to play left field and put the pitcher in the 2-hole. So Hawksworth will come in. Mets have taken a 5-3 lead in the 6th. We'll be right back.
Then
wasn't that good. Good ball out of hits. Hitting the road, take the Mets with you this season. Subscribe to MLB.tv today to see every Mets game live or on demand on your computer and your favorite devices. Visit Mets.com to order and get more details. MLB.tv, baseball everywhere. Well, the rookie Kuroda had 3 different leads in this game and gave all 3 of them back and leaves trailing 5-3. Tony Gwynn Jr. comes in to play left field. He'll bat 9th, and the pitcher Blake Hawksworth will hit 2nd.
Boy, I know that look at Kuroda well. That what might have been kind of look. Hawksworth came over in the trade for Ryan Terrio. 45 games appeared for St. Louis last year. 8 starts for them. He's been outstanding, though, so far this bullpen that has been struggling for the Dodgers.
Dodgers have the worst bullpen ERA in the majors at 5.34, and now without their closer Broxton, who was part of the problem, is ERA over 7, pitching with a bad elbow. So Hairston will stay in to pinch hit. Mets have 3 runs home in the 6th inning, a 1-out double by Beltran, the 2-out intentional walk to Ike Davis, and Jason Pridey messing up that with a 3-run homer. Totally following with a double, and now Hairston, who, like most of the Mets, has struggled as a pinch hitter this year. Mets pinch hitting batting average this year is under 120. And that one almost got past Barajas, 1-0. Hairston 1 for 10 as a pinch hitter. If you go up and down that bench, Hairston 1 for 10, Harris 0 for 10, Who 0 for 7, Murphy 2 for 12, Tolley 0 for 5. And so it goes. Mets are 7 for 61 pinch hitting this season. And Hairston pops it up. He's going to take it. Loney, the guy with the bigger glove, makes the grab, and that ends the inning. But a productive inning for Jason Pridey and the Mets. They walk Ike Davis to pitch to Pridey, and Pridey makes him pay. His 3rd home run, a 3-run shot, and the Mets have their first lead of the night. 5-3 New York as we go to the 7th.
2-2 to Harvey Keene. 1 strike away. Sandy into his windup. Here's the pitch. Swung out and missed. A perfect game.
Perhaps the greatest man ever to climb a mound, at least for a 6-year period. The great Sandy Koufax. And Scully with the call. The 4th no-hitter in 4 years for Koufax. He threw 1 in 62, 1 in 63, 1 in 64, and culminated with a perfect game in 65. And at the time, that was the record. Bob Feller had thrown 3 no-hitters. Sandy threw 4, and of course Nolan Ryan later eclipsed that with 7.
Look at that record for that 5 years, Ronnie. 129, what, 44? Was it 47 or 44? 47? Wow.
Tim Burdock up in the bullpen. Taylor Buchholz on the mound to pitch the 7th for the Mets against Andre Ethier, who's 2 for 3 tonight, has extended his hitting streak to 30 games. And of course, Sandy was a Brooklyn kid pitching for the Brooklyn Dodgers.
Yeah.
Grew up a basketball player in New York. In fact, he went to the University of Cincinnati on a basketball scholarship. But he was a pretty good pitcher.
Yeah.
But here's the interesting thing about it. As Ethier fouls one down the left field line. The rule at the time was if you signed a bonus of a certain amount, the team had to keep you on the big league roster for 2 years, and Sandy did that. And he was in fact with the Dodgers in '55 when they won it all in Brooklyn, but he almost never pitched, and in fact almost never pitched for the first 4 or 5 years of his career because Walter Alston, the manager, didn't believe in him. Now, if something like that happened today and a pitcher didn't hit his stride for 4, 5, 6 years, probably wouldn't be with the same organization after that.
That's right. That's right. And I think there was resentment's not the right word, but there could be cool clubhouses in those days, and if someone made a lot of money and didn't deliver right away, it was that we're not going to handle him with kid gloves kind of deal.
Plus, you're carrying 10 pitchers, and you got a dead weight guy on the roster in that pitching staff with only 10 pitchers.
There was a famous story about Koufax, who was taking classes in the fall of '55. As Ethier tries to hold the swing, and he stopped it in time, and asking his instructor for the day off so he could go to the parade for the Dodgers. And the instructor said, "Big fan, huh?" Said, "No, I'm on the team." Nobody ever saw him pitch.
Oh God! Wow.
2-2 to Ethier.
It's a great story.
Kemp and Uribe to follow. But it wasn't until '61, which was his 7th year, that he really kicked it into gear. And then from then on, he was the best anybody had ever seen. Ethier has his 3rd hit of the night. So forget about the hitting streak. Ethier's just hitting.
Yes. Yeah. That's a good curveball right there, and he just ripped it. Too much of the plate. There's Buchholz's work for the week. So far,
Tuesday night, gave up the game-winning home run to Aubrey Huff in the 10th inning against the Giants. Took the loss.
He's done a terrific job out of the bullpen.
I remember that Sunday night effort was probably his best as a Met so far. Got the win in that game.
Now the tying run at the plate, and the dangerous Matt Kemp, who's 1 for 2, has driven in a run. Mets intentionally walked him his last time up. 6 home runs on the year for Kemp. He's driven in 21. And he hits one out to center field. Pridey coming on, and Pridey makes the running grab, and scampering back to first is Ethier. Jason Pridey having himself a nice night.
That was a nice read off that bat, because that was a big swing by Kemp. Got it off the end of the bat, and he read that straight away.
And I thought he might have broke his bat off the end there, and you see him make the charge in. Jason has done a terrific job since his call-up.
First time he's really gotten a chance to play in the big leagues. Had a couple of cups of coffee with the Twins. Not even cups, more like drops.
Really just a backup extra outfield with Denard Spans, the guy that manned center field for those Twins.
Here's Juan Uribe 0 for 3. Drove in a run with a ground out his last time, and bounces the curveball foul. Ethier, it's the 5th time in his 30-game hitting streak that he's had 3 hits in a game. Never had 4, at least not during this stretch. Stop by Tolley, sliding to his right, 1-1. Buchholz working to Uribe. Got the left-hand hitter Loney on deck, and so Tim Burdack is staying ready in the bullpen. This is badly with that curveball, and it's 2-1.
Very methodical, Taylor, is he not?
You mean slow? Unfortunately, that's a trend for relief pitchers throughout baseball.
Yeah, it really is. Is that they, I don't know whether it's working with the sports psychologist, the visualization. I don't know what it is, but all of them sort of have their own mantra of, you know, Taylor stares at the ground, then comes up and is ready to pitch. Whatever works, I guess.
What I like about Taylor, and I don't like the way he works slowly, but when he first part of the year when he was here, he just was predominantly throwing his curveball. He's found his fastball. He's throwing harder, and he's got confidence in his fastball run.
Yeah, I agree.
He's using it.
He's a guy who's enjoyed some success in the major leagues. He had an extraordinary year with Colorado a couple of years ago as a setup man. Taking on a bigger role now with Beato out. Curveball fouled back. Beato had become the 7th inning guy, setting up Isringhausen in the 8th and K-Rod in the 9th, but with Beato on the sidelines for a couple of weeks with some elbow tendonitis, that pushes Buchholz more to the forefront.
Well, that was a nice trio they had working. I know they only had it for 4 or 5 games, but
now the question tonight is, with Buchholz working the 7th and Burdack up, is K-Rod available? See, he's got his arm wrapped, and that may indicate that he is available.
That tells you he's available. But Terry Collins before the game was saying that he would like to stay away from Frankie, but Frankie says the more he throws, the better he goes.
42 pitches yesterday, including 40 in the 9th inning. It's like the Michelin Man.
Jeez. He's got a toga on.
2-2 to Uribe. And he pulls one foul.
That's 2 hanging breaking balls right there to Uribe. He fouled one back, and that one he was out in front.
You know, how often you sit in that front row of the promenade, do you have a chance for a foul?
No. And
it's like the first one all year.
Dropped it.
It's so frustrating.
I think what Taylor has to think right now is, Uribe, when I look at him as a hitter, you get 2 strikes on him, you can bounce the curveball. He's going to swing at it. He is a free swinger.
0 for 2 in his career against Buchholz. Got the fastball, got a good rip at it.
Uribe never gets cheated, that's for sure. 24 home runs last year. But when you're struggling, he's had 4 very good pitches to hit in this bat, and he's fouled him back or he's pulled him.
Uribe was questionable for the game tonight because it got hit on the hand yesterday or Wednesday by Carlos Zambrano. 4th time he's been hit this year, twice in the same spot, but right back out there tonight. 2-2. Struck him out with a fastball, and Buchholz added a little extra giddy up for his first strikeout of the night.
And again, his fastball. And I agree, after 2 hanging breaking balls to Uribe where he could have got hurt, dial it up, he threw it right by him.
So now 2 out in the inning. And Dan Worthen out to talk to Buchholz. They do have Burdack up ready for Loney, but it looks like they're going to leave him in. Meanwhile, we'll check in with Kevin.
Guys, I asked Josh Chole, who's had a nice game behind the plate tonight, about the difference between a slump offensively and one catching defensively. And he said, well, for me, when I'm in a slump at the plate hitting, I don't like to do more work. It doesn't work for me. I don't get here and go in the cage for hours and go hit off a tee and go do flips. It doesn't work for me. It puts me in a worse slump. So that's the way I do it offensively. But defensively, I like the work. I need the work. To me, I need the feel that defensively. So what I did the last couple of days is got out from using the machine and went and caught as many bullpens as I could. Down in the bullpen catching live pitching. To me, the more better defensively, not good offensively. Guys?
Appearance interruptus for Tim Burdack, who thought he was coming in and was not.
I've never seen that. First time, too. I've never seen it.
Bird on the loose.
Almost all the way to the infield. Did we have it on the, did we show it? Or we, Tim prefer us not to show it.
He's going to get nailed in the clubhouse.
Well,
is he going to get it?
He's been up so many times in games without coming in. He's getting excited.
Oh, he is going to get it in that clubhouse. Oh, gosh.
Feel bad for him.
Well, right there with you. He was eager.
Loney is 1 for 3, and Buchholz misses low, 2-0. Loney, the tying run at the plate. Just 1 home run this season, 10 last year. Jason Isringhausen gets up. Well, that tells you that K-Rod is probably available. Yep. They're getting Isringhausen ready this early, because if K-Rod were not available, they'd save Izzy for the 9th. Now Buchholz behind 2-0. And he misses high. Now he's behind 3-0. A walk to Loney would put the tying runs on base, with Rod Barajas, who's already homered tonight, waiting on deck. Mets took the lead in the bottom of the 6th on Jason Pridey's 3-run homer. Ethier led off the 7th with a hit against Buchholz. He's retired the next 2, but now it's 3-0. And Loney takes a strike. John Neese went 5 2/3, allowed 3 runs, 7 hits. Ryota Igarashi faced 2 batters, gave up a hit, registered a strikeout, and he's now pitcher of record on the long side. On 3-1, Loney pops one foul, and he's just completely off balance.
His swing looks awkward. He's all bound up. You got, the tendency when you're in a slump, you want to squeeze the bat tighter. That's the one thing you don't want to do. But he's out in front. You can see right there reaching for it. And that's called El Slumpo.
He has a fortunate hit tonight. The one he hit off the second base bag that looks going to be an easy out for Reyes. It could be a slump buster. Now Ethier will run with 3-2 and 2 out. And Loney takes low ball 4. So the tying runs are on for the Dodgers. So they left Buchholz in to face Loney, and he pushes that runner to second base. Loney now aboard with the tying run, and Barajas will get another turn. That's 4 walks tonight for Met pitchers. The Mets came in with 116 walks and 280 innings, the second most in the National League.
Burdack's out there. He's like, I was just saying.
He's trying to manage. So now Barajas, who homered his first time up tonight, singled to center in the 4th, flying to center in the 6th, 2 for 3. Barajas is 1 for 21 this year with runners in scoring position. And takes the curveball high for ball 1.
Well, Rod Barajas does not change his approach. He really just has one approach. That is, get a ball in the middle of the plate and try to lift and separate. But he's got a long swing, and that's why he hasn't hit in the clutch.
Cross your heart? And again, Buchholz falls behind. Buchholz blew away Uribe with a fastball, but then walked Loney, and now he's 2-0 on Barajas and totally pays a visit. Worthen has already been out there. Isringhausen has been up along with Burdack. You got the switch hitter Miles on deck, and Miles has been a much better right-hand hitter than left, so you certainly want Miles up there left-handed if he gets there. Now Buchholz about to throw his 24th pitch of the inning. And Barajas thinking he would get one to hammer. Chases a pitch out of the strike zone.
Well, he did get one to hammer, but it's not in his zone, Gary. It's upstairs above the belt. Watch him swing right through it. He's on it, but he swings right through it.
The home run he hit before is middle of the plate, more down in the strike zone.
He likes that ball mid-thigh out over the plate.
And Barajas fouls back the high fastball, 2-2.
Another big cut right on it, but upstairs fastball. And he's got that one zone swing. Watch him come underneath it. Good cut.
So you go a little higher here?
Well, or you curve him in the dirt.
Yeah, his curveball has not been good, though.
But I would stay with the fastball upstairs. Go up the ladder. We'll see.
2 on, 2 out, 2-2 to Barajas. And they got him with a curveball. So Buchholz fans 2 in the inning, tiptoes through some trouble, takes us to the 7th inning stretch. Mets on the heart of the batting order coming up in the shadow of Lady Liberty with the Mets up 5-3.
Oh, we're back on.
Were you singing?
I was singing with the band.
That's a very joyous reaction to the 7th inning stretch.
Yes.
Singing along with Lazy Mary. Now Jose Reyes has tripled twice tonight. Let's see how fast he went home to third. First time out to right center. 10.57. Okay.
Can he beat it?
Out to left center this time.
I don't think he beats it this time because that was correct.
He went a little slower home to first.
So he went a little slower from home to first. Right?
Well, only one Met has ever had 3 triples in a game, and that was 31 years ago. So Reyes has a chance to equal that tonight. He has 3 triples in his last 6 at bats, where he had one yesterday.
Well, I remember stating the first year of this ballpark that Jose should, if stays healthy, could hit 20 triples in a season here.
Met club record for triples in a season is 21. Lance Johnson did that in 1996. Murphy and Wright to follow as the Mets look to build on here in the bottom of the 7th. Mets were down 1-0, came back to tie. Down 2-1, came back to tie. Down 3-2. Friday's 3-run homer in the 6th put him in front for the first time. That's yesterday when up 5-2 in the 5th on Beltran's home run and then never had a hit the rest of the game. Taking on a Dodger bullpen that has struggled big time. Hawksworth last year with the Cardinals gave up 113 hits in 90 innings.
Yeah.
He's got pretty good stuff. You wonder how that happens.
Well, he's one of those guys that I know that when he was in St. Louis, he would constantly get behind hitters, and you get behind hitters, you got to come to them. But he does. If he can get ahead of them, he has enough weapons to put you away.
3-2 now to Reyes. Hawksworth came on to get the final out of the 6th. Kuroda went 5 2/3, allowed 5 runs, 7 hits, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts, 2 home runs. And Kuroda is on the hook. Friday's home run the difference. 3-2. And Reyes is on base for the 3rd time.
3-2 changeup. 3-1 changeup. I mean, a 2-2 changeup and a 3-2 changeup. For the guy you want to keep off the bases, you don't. Red hot as he is, you don't want to give him a free pass.
So now Daniel Murphy 0 for 2 and a walk tonight, just 3 for his last 26.
Put a hit and run on.
It's a nice idea.
Murph's struggling. A lot of times hit and run make you have to go the other way. He might get you out of a slump. Make you focus more to make contact. I don't know if this guy throws enough strikes. Who's his barber?
Not Brian Wilson's barber.
That's for sure.
Murphy pops it up. Should be playable. Uribe calls off Barajas. 1 away. So Murph's tough times continue. A first pitch foul out. 1 out and 1 on for David Wright, who was robbed of a hit by Jamie Carroll his last time up. 0 for 2 and a walk. Mets last year played the Dodgers at Citi Field early in the season, at a time when the Mets were getting off to a pretty good start, and they swept the Dodgers 3 games here. Santana won one of the games. Takahashi won one of those games. But then they played the Dodgers out in L.A. in late July, and well, that unfortunately was a memorable series for the Mets. They lost 3 of 4, but more importantly, they lost Jason Bay. It was right after the All-Star break. Remember, they started in San Francisco.
Yeah, right.
Had a rough series there. Managed to squeak out a win the last game of that series on a bad call, and then lost 3 of 4 to the Dodgers, and the downhill spiral had begun.
At the plate with Henry Blanco, and the runner was safe at home and called out.
Right, it should have been the winning run for the Giants at the bottom of the 9th. I think the Mets won it in the 10th. Going to Dodger Stadium has not been a happy spot for the Mets the last couple of years.
Right.
You had the Ryan Church play there a couple of years ago.
Didn't touch third.
The Jeremy Reed throw home in the same game.
A little wide.
The Beltran and Pagan miscommunication in left center. That was all the same game, wasn't it? 2 years ago?
3 years ago, was it? Pagan got hurt going down the left field line in Dodger Stadium.
Right. And How about the 3 straight homers off John Maine, with Hong-Chi Kuo hitting the 3rd one and flipping the bat? All that at Dodger Stadium. And you know what? The only good part about that is not many people saw it back in New York because the games are so late.
That's right. They were good.
I saw it, guys, because I was in the all-you-could-eat section that night. Hong-Chi Kuo's home run almost hit me in the head. Hard to miss.
They have the gluten-free out there?
They did not. Hey, don't forget, last year, remember R.A. Dickey and Jerry Manuel had that whole thing with Jerry lifting him from the game. R.A. not happy.
That's right.
Yeah, that to the list.
So when do we go to L.A. this year?
Right before the All-Star break.
That's right. It's the
July 4th we'll be there.
You go Los Angeles and then to Arizona, right?
San Francisco
That's
right before the break. Yeah.
That's right.
So it's before the break instead of right after. Reyes is running, and the throw by Barajas has no chance. Reyes has his 12th stolen base of the year, leading the National League.
That was a case of a big jump, changing a veteran's catcher whole approach to throwing the ball to second base. Barajas tried to just get it down so quickly that it wasn't even close.
There's a case where the catcher comes up throwing. That was a strike. He took the strike away from the pitcher there. That was a knee-high strike. We've talked about Rapiano's big strike zone today.
1-1 to right, looking to pick up Reyes from second. Jose has scored 1 run tonight, 20 for the year, which puts him right on a pace to score 100 runs. Mets are playing their 32nd game, so that's roughly a fifth of the schedule. Big hole on the right side with Miles trying to keep Reyes close, and they try the pickoff maneuver, but Reyes was close to the bag. Not too many times that pickoff plays successful with a second baseman, is it?
No, it's not. You do it more for show, to say, you know what, we're watching you. We can come after you at any time. Don't try to get that big lead. But it does look like Reyes is trying to edge off and maybe take that bag.
Certainly getting a lot of attention from Hawksworth. He's only thrown 2 pitches to David Wright in about, 7 minutes?
This last inning and a third has been like waterboarding, for crying out loud.
To the shortstop, Reyes will have to hold as Carroll throws out right, 2 away. Mike McDougald, the skinny right-hander, and Hong-Chi Kuo, the left-hander, in the Dodger bullpen.
It's got to be very difficult for a reliever when you're down there. Kuo's been down there throwing for what, 20 minutes, 25 minutes, to stop yourself from throwing. You know, to just stand on that mound and say, hey, listen, I got to save some of those pellets for the game.
Well, Don Mattingly issued an intentional walk in the last inning to Ike Davis. That didn't work out. This time he's going to pitch to Carlos Beltran with first base open and Jason Bay on deck. Beltran gets the off-speed pitch and swings through it, 0-1. Carlos is swinging the bat over the last 10 days better than anybody in the Mets lineup. Tonight a sacrifice fly, a 412-foot fly ball that was caught, and a double down the right field line.
They're playing Carlos a little bit to pull here, and they should. Both infield, dramatically in the infield. Nice try on that pitch there. Tried to come inside on Carlos.
That's all for show. He really wants to get him out with a changeup in the dirt. He tipped his hand with that first pitch to Carlos. Base open.
One from Hawksworth is outside. We have another no-hit alert. Jaime Garcia for the Cardinals, perfect through 7 against the Brewers. Now they're going to walk Beltran intentionally. Got to 2-1 before making the decision. So for the second straight inning, the Dodgers issue an intentional walk. It blew up on them in the last inning. We'll see whether Jason Bay can cash this one in after the intentional pass to Beltran. The other night, the Giants had a game where they issued 4 intentional walks, and everyone worked out perfectly. So you just never know sometimes.
Well, it's really up to your pitcher. Be able to execute after you've walked a guy.
Last inning, Corona hung a slider to Pridey after the intentional walk to Davis, and Pridey hit a 3-run bomb to put the Mets in front. Now Hawksworth will face Bay with 2 out and 2 on. Jason tonight 1 for 3, a deep fly ball to left, a single to left, and a hard ground ball to third, so he's hit the ball solidly all 3 times up. Two on and 2 out for Bay. And ball 1 from Hawksworth at 97 miles an hour. Hawksworth's 20th pitch of the inning. And it's hit hard toward the hole, base hit. Reyes around third. He'll come on home. The throw by Gwynn is cut off. It's an RBI single for Jason Bay, and the Mets stretch their lead to 6-3. So another intentional walk, another 2-out RBI hit for the Mets.
Well, you know, the manager made the right move in both cases. Your players don't execute. That's a fastball right down Broadway. That's what happens when you fall behind. Particularly if you want to throw the old junk up there and you fall behind with secondary pitches and you got to come in with a fastball.
That's going to be all for Hawksworth. Don Mattingly will bring in the left-hander Quo to face Ike Davis. So the Mets have tacked on a run here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Reyes scores after a leadoff walk, a steal, and a Bay hit. 6-3 New York. We'll be right back.
See that ERA, but last season he was almost unhittable. In 60 innings of work, only 29 hits and 73 punch-outs. When he's physically right, almost unhittable.
In fact, he made the All-Star team last year for the National League. So Ike Davis will come up against Quo. Ike already has a home run tonight. He's also grounded into a double play and had an intentional walk. Day driving in a run after the intentional walk to Beltran. So the Mets have 4 of their 6 runs following intentional walks. 2 out and 2 on for Davis. And Quo throws a fastball by him, 0-1. Mets now with 6 runs and 8 hits. The Dodgers 3 runs and 9 hits. Let's have Isringhausen up in the bullpen, getting ready to pitch the 8th inning. Jason Pridey, who has the biggest hit in this game, is standing on deck. Here's Izzy getting ready for the 8th. Hong-Chi Kuo, a native of Taiwan, now 29 years old. He's been through a couple of Tommy John surgeries, but when he has been healthy, he has been terrific as a Dodger. They tried him out as a starter when he first came to LA in 05, but has settled in as a solid left-handed reliever. He had a back problem that knocked him out for a couple of weeks just recently. And it's upstairs to Davis, 2-2. Ike now with 7 homers, 23 RBIs after his 2nd inning shot off the facing of the Pepsi porch. Now has 16 extra base hits. Beltran has 17. Reyes with his 2 triples tonight has 16. It's a lot of extra base hits in 5 weeks. Swing and a foul tip held by Barajas, and Davis down swinging to end the inning. But the Mets had a run on Bay's 2-out RBI hit. We go to the 8th, 6-3 New York. It has the least chance of being broken. Interesting that 44% say DiMaggio's hit streak ahead of Cy Young.
People, you know it's 5'11", right? The number?
Next time we'll write it out. Jason Isringhausen on to pitch the 8th inning.
He really has only had one kind of indifferent outing, and that was 2 outings ago. Fine last time. Facing Aaron Miles.
Yeah, looked a little off balance in Philadelphia, but faced the Giants for 1 batter and got an out on Tuesday night. Miles leads off in the 8th inning. He's 0 for 3 tonight. Kenley Jansen just called up today with Jonathan Broxton going on the disabled list up in the Dodger bullpen. We saw him last year right after he came up.
Lights out Jansen. I was going to give him a nickname.
I think it was his 2nd appearance and he got a save. I think he struck out the side. Miles retired, 3 unassisted, 1 out. Let's check in with Chris Carlin. He has a New York State Smokers Quit Line game break. Nonetheless, some great pitching performances tonight. The Braves have shut out the Phillies 5-0. Derek Lowe and the bullpen combined on a 2-hitter in that game.
Well, it just shows you St. Louis facing Milwaukee. If Braun and Fielder go into a little mini slump, they do not score any runs.
Well, that's what gives the Cardinals right now such an advantage over everybody else, is that they've got a 4-batter stretch with Rasmus and Pujols starting to come around now, and then the 2 hottest guys in the league in Holiday and Berkman. That's a tough row to hoe right there.
Tough to get through there. And look, Berkman have 34 or 32 RBI, something crazy.
What an amazing comeback year it's been for him. I mean, he looked done with the Yankees last year.
He did. The only time he looked, he had a great game in Minnesota during the playoffs, but other than that, really struggled.
Started the night with 32 RBIs, 3 ahead of Brian Howard for the National League lead. Tony Gwynn Jr. up for the first time, came in on a double switch in the 6th inning. Hitting at .254 on the year. And Izzy bounces the curveball 1-2.
Well, the thing again about Berkman is that he's so strong from the left side and struggles from the right side, but LaRusso's been trying to keep him away from those at-bats from the right side, although he hit a big home run last night.
3-run homer in the 8th.
Yeah.
Well, when he's right, it's hard to get out.
When he's healthy.
Yeah, healthy.
2-2 to Gwynn with Jamie Carroll on deck.
I never would have expected him to have a comeback like this. I just, even in Houston, Gary, before he went over to the Yankees, we saw him in Houston. I thought he looked dead.
He looked old, right?
He looked old and tired.
Gwynn slaps one to short, and Reyes moves over. 2 out. So Isringhausen's come on, gotten 2 ground ball outs. Well, Met pitchers have had 1-1-2-3 inning tonight. That was Neese back in the 3rd. And a chance for one for Isringhausen as he takes on Jamie Carroll. Carroll's been aboard twice with a single and a walk. 1 for 3. He scored a run. A game in which the Dodgers have taken 3 separate leads, only to see the Mets come back each time. Isn't that really one of the measures of this team this year compared to last?
Just just playing hard, playing 27 outs. They're 5-9, right? And games decided by 1 or 2 runs. You flip that upside down, you're in good shape.
Murphy with the jump throw to first, and Ike picks it out for the out. Daniel Murphy showing off some skills. I think that's the first time we've seen that one from Murphy, and he executes it nicely to get Carroll. A 1-2-3 inning for Isringhausen, with some assistance from Daniel Murphy. Start as the Mets wrap up their series against the Dodgers here at Citi Field. Mets-Dodgers coverage begins with Pepsi Max pregame live Sunday at 12:30 only on SNY. Tomorrow we'll be on Picks 11, and Chris Young, coming off his stellar performance in Philadelphia, will go up against John Garland. That's a 7 o'clock game tomorrow night. And then Dickey against young Clayton Kershaw on Sunday. And well, there's the answer. K-Rod is available today, getting ready to pitch the 9th inning.
We misspoke.
Kenley Jansen, just back from the minor leagues, will take over the pitching for the Dodgers.
Well, he's just gotten back, but boy, what a year he had last year. Only 25 games, struck out 41 in 27 innings.
We saw him make his major league debut last year, struck out the first 2 batters he faced in the majors, then the next day came back and got a save. And if you think that's quick, as Jason Friday leads off the bottom of the 8th, keep in mind that Kenley Jansen has only been pitching for 2 years. He was a catcher in the Dodgers organization for half a dozen years. They moved him to the mound midway through the 2009 season, and he made it to the big leagues the next year.
Great arm, no hit. You know, probably a strong throwing catcher, and obviously, and just couldn't hit. And let's see if he can do it in the mound.
Well, Jason Friday turned this game around in the 6th inning.
Well, the intentional walk, rightly done to a red-hot Ike Davis to face the rookie, and he delivers. What a blow for the Mets there, and that gave them the lead, and they have not relinquished the lead since then.
Well, his 2 3-run home runs have almost been in the same exact spot.
It'll be Friday, then Josh Tolley, and the pitcher's spot for the Mets in the bottom of the 8th, before handing it off to K-Rod for the 9th. And Jansen misses low and in, 2-2. And it's in there for a call, strike 3. So Friday, who knew it, walks away, and Jansen has his first strikeout. So here's Tolley. Josh is 1 for 3, doubled down the right field line his last time up. First pitch he saw tonight, tried to jack one out to right field and hit it right to the wall in right field in front of the Mo zone where it was caught. So he's been looking to pull the ball all night.
And rightfully so. We're talking all about Ethier's hitting, but he's made 2 fine catches today, not only on Tolley but on Beltran in that right center gap.
Willie Harris out on deck to pinch hit. Oh, 2 to Tolley. And he misses high. Josh has caught a nice game today after all the conversation about his catching difficulties earlier in the week.
Back to work with the coach John Davis, and you know, that's all you can do when you're struggling a little bit. Go back to basics.
And Jansen strikes out Tolley, so back-to-back strikeouts. The former catcher striking out the current catcher.
Just a little overmatched with that fastball.
I'm just surprised. I mean, it's definitely there wrong, but Josh, a contact hitter, I've just seen a lot of guys with a good fastball throw it by him.
So now Willie Harris will come up to pinch hit with 2 out and nobody on. Kenley Jansen, a native of Curacao.
Andrew Jones has done more than anyone to get those young people interested off that island.
And of course, you've got Jair Jurgens, who is developing into one of the best young pitchers in the game. This kid was Hensley Mullins the first
I
from
think
Curacao
so.
to play in the big leagues?
Hitting coach for the Giants who just left.
We had Eugene Kingsale, who was a speedy outfielder, I think, with the Orioles.
Is Bernardina from Curacao? Roger Bernardina from the Nationals?
Where they speak Papiamento.
That's right.
2-1 to Harris, who, like the rest of the Met bench players, has struggled as a pinch hitter this year. 0 for 10 in a pinch hitting role.
Papiamento is like the local patois there, right?
Reyes would be next. Already has a pair of triples, a stolen base, a couple of runs scored tonight. And Harris takes the breaking ball high for 3-1.
Interesting choice of pitches there. 2-1 to Harris. Decided to go with the breaking ball when this guy's throwing 150 miles an hour.
And Harris is on with a 2-out walk. So that's 6 walks given up by Dodger pitchers tonight. And our statistician confirms that Bernardina is from Curacao. Randall Simon, famous for slugging a sausage.
That's right.
He was a pretty good hitter for a while, Randall Simon, but he'll always be remembered for slugging the sausage in Milwaukee.
Vegetarian.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, that was the problem.
If they introduced a vegetable sausage, would he be happy?
They would have been fine with that.
So Reyes, having himself another big night, steps in against Jansen. Jose with a pair of triples, one to right center, one to left center. Last time up, he walked, stole a base, and scored an insurance run. Reyes now has scored 21 runs this year. Leads the National League with 5 triples and 12 steals. Reyes takes strike 2. Braves beating the Phillies tonight. That's 6 straight wins for Atlanta now. So after a slow start, the Braves are now 4 games over 500 and doing what we expected them to do when the year began. Jansen checks in on Harris.
They just did not hit at all for about a 3-week period, Atlanta, but a little better now.
The funny thing is, Chipper Jones, who was the one guy who was going for him, is now cooled off.
That pushes the Braves 3.5 behind.
Florida playing at home against Washington. The Nats just scored a run in the 10th to go in front, 3-2. Florida playing way over their heads right now, 19-11. Josh Johnson got beat up a little bit last night.
Yeah. Well, you know, that home run to Berkman was given up after he left the game, so he left with 2 on. That gave him 2 more earnings.
ERA all the way up to 1.6.
Yeah.
1-2 now to Reyes with Harris at first and 2 out. And a pitch out. And Harris is going nowhere.
Well, Barajas gave it away. He came out much too quickly and stood up much too quickly on that pitch out.
Kenley Jansen, the 4th Dodger pitcher of the night. Hiroki Kuroda started, went 5 2/3, and stands to be the losing pitcher. And Reyes cracks one to right center field, and he's on the run again. On his way to third is Harris, and he'll be held up there as Kemp gets to it. Reyes dives into second base with his 3rd extra base hit of the night. He is just putting on a show.
He is red hot. Boom, look at that. Going down and getting it. Right up at the plate. That's the key.
Boy, oh boy, is he just really on fire.
A big night for Reyes. 2 triples, a double, a walk, a stolen base. He scored a couple of runs. Now Daniel Murphy with 2nd and 3rd and 2 out, and he takes up and in. Murph 0 for 3 and a walk tonight. Down to 247 on the year. That's now with 9 hits in the game. And 7 of the 9 have been for extra bases. Only 2 singles belong to Jason Bay. Reyes has 2 triples and a double. Beltran a double. Davis a home run. Friday a home run. And Tolley a double. 1-1 from Jansen. And Murph takes a fastball down the middle, 1-2. Well, Tim Burdick gets up alongside K-Rod. Presumably if the Mets score a couple more runs, they would not bring K-Rod in. Murphy trying to make it happen.
I think Murph is trying to see the ball too deep. Go out and get it. Remember a couple weeks ago when Davis was a little behind Ike Davis, and Terry Collins told him to go out there and get that ball. I think it's what Murph's got to do right now. If you strike out, you strike out.
Breaking ball strikes him out, and the inning is over. Jansen fans 3 in the inning, and so K-Rod will come on for the save as we go to the 9th with the Mets up 6-3. Tonight on Geico Sports Night at 10:30. More from the Knicks. Horse racing, basketball, and hockey all coming up on Geico Sports Night 10:30 tonight on SNY. As Francisco Rodriguez, after 42 pitches yesterday, right back out there today.
7 of 8 and save opportunities. Just blew the first one. Perfect sense.
Jay Gibbons is the pinch hitter. The former Oriole lines one into center field, and that'll keep Frankie's streak intact of not having a 1-2-3 inning yet this year. Let's check in what's coming up on Lincoln Post Game Live. Chris Carlin and Bobby Ojeda with a preview. All right, guys, now Andre Ethier, who has 3 hits tonight, extended his hitting streak way back in the first inning and added on 2 more hits for good measure. has his average up to 382 for the year. Runner at first and nobody out. And Ethier fouls off the first pitch fastball. Well, K-Rod trying to nail it down yesterday. Came on in the 8th. Was the beneficiary of a caught stealing to get him through that inning. And then got 3 more outs in the 9th around 2 walks and a base hit. And Ethier hits one out to right center field. Beltran ranging over. And that's the first down in the 9th. Gibbons back to first, 1 away. And now Matt Kemp will come to the plate. Kemp has gone 1 for 3 tonight. Fly ball single that went in and out of Beltran's glove as he tried to make a sliding catch along the right field line. That drove in the first run of the game. Since then, he struck out, been intentionally walked, and flied out. Dodgers need 1 more base runner to get the tying run to the plate here in the 9th. Interesting that the Mets do not have a backup plan in the bullpen right now. You would think with the number of pitches K-Rod threw last night that they'd have somebody ready just in case he goes fairly deep into this inning.
And also, you know, after the hit by Gibbons, if he doesn't have, you know, his A+ stuff, you can recognize that with just your eyes.
One and one to Kemp with Juan Uribe on deck. Well, the closing opportunities were not frequent early in the season for Francisco Rodriguez. Swing and a miss. And let's face it, a lot of times managers manage to the save rule.
Yeah, you're right.
He was ready to not use K-Rod if the Mets had a 4 or 5 run lead, but goes with him with a 3 run lead.
No, K-Rod will tell you all the time that the more work he gets, the better. And what, 62 out of 69 that one season with the Angels.
Ahead on Kemp, 1-2. And a drive to center field. Pridey racing over. And Jason runs it down. Boy, he's played a good center field tonight. 2 out. Another good jump on this ball.
Well, he's done it all, and he can cover the ground here. He can play a little bit deeper now with the lead late in the ball game. Really routine play right there for the outfielder. And just a matter of covering ground, which Pridey does well.
So the Dodgers are down to their final out of the night. Juan Uribe is 0 for 4, has struck out twice, drove on a run with a ground out in the 5th. And the first pitch breaking ball fouled off. Uribe with his team down by 3 runs in the 9th inning, needing 1 more base runner to even have a chance, up there wailing at a first pitch curveball.
Interesting with Rod Barajas too. Have 2 hitters in that lineup that kind of very similar.
But in this situation, you have to refine it a little bit, don't you?
Of course you do.
The manager's got to put take on, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And now the Dodgers are down to their final strike. James Loney would be next. K-Rod trying to end it right here. Check swing. It gets away from Tolley. Did he swing? Down to second base goes Gibbons. They haven't checked out the half swing. Now they do, and they say he did not swing. Uribe did not run. Had he been judged to have gone around, he would have been thrown out of first base.
Now, he went, by the way.
Correct me if I'm wrong. If Fabiano's not sure, he's got to ask for help right away on this ball.
Fabiano felt like he was sure.
Well, sometimes it's up to the catcher to ask for the umpire to ask for help, and Tolley was busy chasing.
Right. That's right. But you can, as a pitcher, you can try to get help too.
So it's a wild pitch. Moving Gibbons to second. That's of little consequence. Just takes away the force at second base. 1-2 to Uribe. And a high fly ball to left. Bay has it measured. And the ball game is over. K-Rod comes in, gives up a leadoff hit, gets 3 fly ball outs, and the Mets have won their second straight as Jason Pridey has the big hit, a 3-run homer after an intentional walk to put the Mets in front to stay.
You know, Gary, not only an intentional walk, but on a day when you get news about Angel Pagan, who might not be able to be reinstated again, Pridey with a big 3-run home run.
And I think Jonathan Nice threw a good ball game today. It's just unfortunate. He could have got a W. The bullpen again comes in strong. Gives up, 3 1/3 innings, shutout ball. So the Mets have won 2 in a row.
So the Mets take the opener of this 3-game weekend